Hey guys, welcome to episode 201 of 4PlayerAnimecast. It is nearing the end of July over here, 23rd of July, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over here at the East Coast of the United States. I've recently been getting it whenever I've been getting into my car and starting it up. I've been seeing temperatures of 98, 99, 100, 101 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's always very pleasant. Baking to death in your own car until the air AC comes on, but you know how it is. Again, I am your host Spire, and with me are my usual compatriots, Near,
Hello.
Dark,
Hi.
and of course Toast.
What? Yeah, it's me.
All right, so we have, I think, a pretty decent lineup for you guys today, but let's just start off really briefly with 2 weeks. What have you got for us, Near? How have your past 2 weeks been?
Well, if you remember, last episode, I was in despair, cause Castoria had come out and I'd spent like over 1,000 quartz, right?
Oh, right. The
And I
Yeah, I
FGO.
believe
didn't
the
get it.
tally was 1,300.
Yeah, so after that, I continued grinding out, Fate episodes, um, like strengthening quests, any like side quests that I didn't have, just desperately scrounging up like any quartz I could possibly get. And I did a lot. I did a lot. I scrounged up a couple hundred more quartz, right?
Uh-huh.
Um and just shy of the 1,300 quartz milestone, I got her. And
Omerito.
I was like, it's really it's such a like I mean it's like the feeling you get where it's like, wow, like this is why people are addicted to gambling, It's like,
This is why I do it.
yeah, it's like it's like both like it's like relief and like bliss, but also like it's like tinged with like that was a bad idea. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
Um
just like I almost like the only the examples I thought up of right now. It's well, yeah, it's the brain chemicals, it's the endorphins, but it's kind of
yeah.
like jacking off in a sense, right? Where
Yeah, I mean it's very much
like
like
the climax of the
It's
moment,
like
or
it's
even
like
just
you
having
get
sex in
you
general.
get
Like,
that release and you're like, "Yes, yes, yes," but immediately after you're kinda like,
like
Yeah,
why the
whatever.
fuck did I do that? Yeah,
Exactly
exactly.
do that?
like, why? Like,
This is
why am
just
I
JPEG. Why did I do this?
Yeah,
And it's
but
not even like a JPEG that only I have. It's not even like it's an NFT. It's
yeah,
Yeah, it's not even
it's
like
like
not a
JPEG.
picture of an
It's not even like what I have,
A.
which
Speaking of
is full
Yeah.
3D
NFTs,
model and playable character and Genshin Impact.
speaking of NFTs, y'all buy that pink sauce yet?
yeah,
I
duh.
have not
But,
touched the pink sauce.
but yeah, so I got Castoria.
Mhm.
I'm pretty much tapped, um, for now, which is unfortunate because the next like 6 months for FGO is pretty stacked, and then after that, like the next entire year is like really stacked. So I'm probably fucked. But um, I just take my solace to the fact that I don't spend money in FGO, so it's all luck,
Are you
baby.
completely F2P? Are you completely
Um,
F?
I mean, I spend money on like the guaranteed SSR stuff. Like
Oh, okay.
I'll drop like
So
the
you do like what the
$15.
Western player base calls like a dolphin kind of thing. You're not a
Yeah,
full
yeah,
whale
yeah.
yet. Yeah,
I
yeah.
like
Okay.
I don't buy rolls.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, no, buying
literally,
regular rolls, by the way, this is just like my first tip of Fight Club, of Gotcha Fight Club is don't fucking play gotcha games.
Too
yeah,
late.
Number two, if you do have to play it and you do start like spending money on it, like beyond because you're just like, oh, I don't want to fucking spend 11 months
You're a sick
to
fucking addict, yeah.
to get fucked in the ass even by a spark or even a game that doesn't have a spark, even if I work for 11 months. But if you do want to spend money on it, always do what Nier said, or always do, I guess, what I also do, which is only spend your money on discounts or like big like holiday events or something like that, where you get like much more value for your money. If you're getting, because especially since these days, almost every gacha game has like a decent number of events around the year, right? They have Christmas/New Year, they have Golden Week, they have their anniversary, they'll have like maybe collaborations, they'll have like Halloween events, Valentine, White Day. What am I forgetting here? Like they'll have a summer event oftentimes. Uh so there's
Easter,
like
stuff like that.
what?
Yeah.
Yes,
Easter.
Easter. So there are a lot of opportunities to get like free shit and like discounted stuff for your money. And if you are out there being like, oh, I'm gonna turn on this fucking Danmachi gotcha game that's gonna shut down in like 2 years, and I'm gonna fucking pay $30 for a 10 roll like regular price.
Oh yeah, I
You
mean
are
that's the other
fucking
thing too.
stupid.
Like
You are
that, I guess
fucking
that should be
stupid.
another rule. It's like really gauge what you're playing. And
What's gonna
Like,
is
if
this gonna
you're,
be
yeah,
the
you should
10-year
really
at
like
least long game?
yeah.
if you're thinking of spending money, like I don't know. I
If
think
if you're okay, no,
if
this is what I'm
if
gonna
you're
say.
thinking of spending any amount of like money that is more than like $10 or something, you should really gauge like, am I going to be playing this
Well,
for
it's like with the NFT crowd, right? It's like you have that link to that ape, but you better damn well make sure that your apes are in a safe place. It's the same with this, right? It's like I don't care how much money you put in like Magireko, right? Like if that shit is gonna shut down, you better have like pics saved or some shit of whatever is going on there, right?
so you can look at those fucking screenshots longfully and say, yeah, what it used to
I
be.
fucking spent too much money on this game.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
like for instance,
memory.
yeah, like for instance, I have I legitimately have pictures like saved here and on the cloud of like um when I stopped playing Love Life School Fest, as well as when I stopped playing Derste and Mirishita. Um and I have like a picture of like all the cards that I actually collected, just so I can be like, yeah, I spent like X amount of money, like too much money for that game, but I actually have no idea what I spent it on, which is like even more
Yeah.
fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, sorry, go on.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the highlight of my 2 weeks is just, getting getting what I want, really.
And then
You know,
realizing after, fuck, I
yeah,
spent too
yeah.
much effort on this
Other than
shit.
that, I mean, I played a little bit of Multiverses, the beta.
Ah, yes.
I got one of those Twitch drops. Pretty fun. Um, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I think it's
Pretty
pretty good. I've seen some people whining about like the costumes and stuff, but in my opinion, the costumes that are in the game right now are really not very good, and you shouldn't really be wanting to spend money on them anyway.
Mm.
Um, but it's the way it is with free to play games. Is sometimes there's shit that costs money in them. But
I mean, the costumes are really hit or miss. Like,
yeah,
well, actually, no. I would say most of them are bad. Even like, well, I mean, the one I picked up isn't really bad. It's just not incredible. But then you have, fucking animated series Batman, and it's like,
I mean
shit,
the
dude.
Batman one, the Batman
It's
one
like,
is really good because it's just
damn,
like it's just
it's
like
fucking
the animated
Batman the
series.
animated series.
If they do more costumes like that where it's like, iconic looks, then, I think I think the costumes will be worth picking up. But when you're out here
Yeah.
being like, yeah, Superman, but he's gold, it's like
Oh,
I
that
don't
one is like
I don't care,
unreasonably bad. Like,
Yeah, I really don't
it's
care.
not even like weirdly enough, of all the characters to get like a throwaway costume as well, they chose fucking Superman. Like,
Yeah.
okay,
I mean,
could have done
dude, they
Justice League
couldn't they couldn't have
Superman.
given
Could have
I mean,
done
they couldn't have given
any
him
other
like,
rendition of
to
Superman.
the like what was it was Superman Returns, right? Where he comes back after he dies or whatever, where he's got the black suit like that. They could have done
Yeah.
something like that, but anyway, it's a fun game. I forget when
Who did they add? Did they add Rick and Morty yet? Or should I just
No,
No,
Rick
I
and
think-
Morty is coming after LeBron James.
Yeah, I think LeBron comes out when the
Next
game
week,
goes into
the
open
26th.
beta.
Yeah.
Which
the
is
scary part is you guys aren't joking about LeBron.
yeah. I mean, he is owned by Warner Brothers, so
Not Michael Jordan. We got LeBron now.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably way more tape around Michael Jordan for Warner Brothers anyway.
Probably.
Does Bugs have his Space Jam outfit? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Good.
he does.
He
I
should.
wouldn't be surprised if they fucking
Yeah,
slap
they
that in
would-
there once LeBron
They'll
comes out.
probably add it. But yeah, I'd say if you have any interest in multiverses or if you like Smash Bros, I would recommend checking it out once it
If you
goes
like Smash
into-
Bros, but think Smash Bros has was it
Yeah,
the game's
or
too cluttered?
or if you're a
visually.
freak like Germa who says that Smash Bros has like too much visual effects on screen. But yeah, it's a fun game. Yeah, that's basically my 2 weeks. Other than that, just like playing Fortnite and shit.
All right, pretty good, pretty good. Toast, what about you? 2 weeks, please.
What? I don't know.
Not much. Pretty quiet.
Damn.
How'd those debuts go?
Who?
The
debuts
boys.
The boy views.
Go down
There's
the
only
line, bro.
there's one happening right now. It's
No,
the
it's
good
over.
looking guy. Oh, it's over. I missed it.
Axles, right?
They're all right, I
Yeah.
guess. No, not X. The one after.
Oh.
Not
Damn.
not Alucard. I don't know his name. I don't remember. All I know is Magni.
Yeah.
It's Megan time.
God damn it. All right, so pretty quiet overall then.
Do you want me to talk about Hollow Stars? Because I can.
No, it's fine.
Or do you
I
want
mean,
me to talk
give
about Iluna? Because I can.
give a quick rating. How are the boys?
The first
out of
boy,
10.
first boy, soft spoken and apparently a singer. So good for him. I have no idea what Magni is, but he's Megan. So
He's cringe.
good for him. Any what is it? He likes witchcraft works.
Yeah.
He named that as one of his favorite anime. I went.
Okay.
I'm like,
wait, he says it's one of his favorite. Like
Yes,
the
like,
thing is,
'cause
like
you- 'cause
wait,
you-
put it
it's
on his-
okay
you
to
put it
it's
on his
okay to be
slide.
like down with witchcraft works, but I wouldn't be
I
like,
mean, you-
yeah,
It's okay to
this-
be down bad.
You've
but-
seen debut streams, right, where they list like their top 10 animes
Yeah.
and
They
shit.
do the
Yeah,
descriptions and stuff.
he put like witchcraft works on
like
his like
Full
his
Metal Alchemist and
debut.
other stuff.
Like this is one of my favorite anime of all time.
Eh,
Yeah, I
Eh,
mean,
yeah.
who does that?
eh.
It's weird. I don't know a single person who puts witchcraft work as one of their top anime.
Hmm.
What would I put in my top anime?
Data
I
Live.
think
Yeah,
that's probably
yeah.
a. Actually,
But
that
Data
that'll
Live
be
is actually mainstream, so
that's what I was
Or
gonna
whatever.
compare it to. Is like imagine like some motherfucker walking up to you and being like, "Well, I mean, this would be psychotic to begin with, but like, yeah, my top 10 anime, fucking Phantom World, my top 10, bro. It's just like,
Phantom
What?
World over Wonder Egg priority. Whoa.
I mean, even Wonder Egg Priority, like if you didn't finish that series, I would believe it. That series has very good animations. Unfortunately, it's a fucking piece of shit. So
Hmm.
But yeah, I have no idea how to gauge that guy based off witchcraft works. So he's an enigma.
He's a sick freak.
Then Axel,
You just really gotta like the way that the main heroine carries the guy, like
Yeah.
with her big boobs.
oh, that's
Question mark?
true. It's like, oh, he likes dommy mommies, huh? All right. Then
I mean, that's
What the fuck is that? Okay,
that's
can-
basically
can
what
we-
I said. Like he's just
can
a
I-
boomer, right?
can-
Like
That's-
I don't want. I don't want. No.
That's what
Okay, this is
I'm
not about the
saying.
fetish. All right. So I don't want to get into too big. I don't really want to get into tangent at all. But it's like a very quick question. A very quick question. Like, what is with all this? Like, very. How do I say this? Like, there's a lot of vocab
Yo, it's
flying
about
around lately.
freedom, man. It's about
Yeah, no. It's not even about like a specific fetish. It's about like there's a lot of vocab flying around lately that's like a mix between
Oh
like
yeah.
some Fortnite shit and some fetish and like VTubers and like Japanese English kind of like weird shit that like people like to use. And like they've all been mingling and you have
Leave
like Toast
Fortnite out of this.
Toast has been telling me about like mommy VTubers or mommy
You got
tubers
the
or whatever the fuck
tubers,
it is.
you buy
And then
tubers.
like yep, like whatever like I don't like and like fucking I was talking
And then
I don't know whether I was
Yeah,
talking
I
with
can
Mia or
imagine
whoever
Toast
about
out
this.
here with like a fucking like casino visor, like just like
Yeah.
just rifling through like chips. Like, yeah, I got you.
You
I
ever
got some
seen that
mommy
pic of like the
tubers.
dude talking to the girl at like the baseball diamond, and he's got his hand up, and he's got the fucking like reflective sunglasses on, and his hat, and he's
Yeah, he's got his
talking to
like
the
arm
girl.
like around
Yeah,
her like
he's got his arm
fucking
around her
back.
neck, and he's got
Yeah.
his other hand is like in almost like a salute kind of thing. It's very obvious he's super into what he's talking about, but the girl just doesn't give a shit at all.
Yeah.
Let's Toast talking to Spire.
I mean,
I-
there's also the dreaded boomer tuber, which I don't think I need to talk about
that
that.
and
I mean,
like
is that dreaded though? Because that's just like fucking what's his name's channel now. Essentially, Sugita. Think about it.
Ajidus. So yeah, with
Yeah,
like
the
with,
boomer tuber.
oh yeah. Because he's always just like talking about like stuff like games he found he had played in the 80s and shit like that. Yeah. And like
They were
candy and stuff like that.
Yeah, 80s candy
Yeah.
games.
But yeah, what was it? What was I gonna say? Yeah, that and like I don't know whether I should just put this in the shout out because I don't necessarily like super like I'm not like oh I fucking hate this. It's just like weirds me out. But it's like this also hops onto or this mingles with this like recent trend that I've seen of like cam girls or like whoever the fuck on the cosplayers or whoever on Instagram, right? Who
Hey, they're
are
called Twitch streamers, okay, buddy?
yeah, or Twitter, right? I guess it's mostly Twitter, I guess, but it's just like they have like those cosplayers and they're doing like the usual like anime like Your Forger or like whatever cosplays, right? But then like their like cosplay like nicknames, right? Are like my name is Kimiko. I'm like, bro, you're fucking like you're like a 26-year-old white girl like in the suburbs. Like,
Yeah,
why are
I
you
mean, you can just go through like the cosplay section of like Sad Panda, and it's like,
like you don't
yeah,
like I'm okay with you calling
Julie
yourself
Yukimi or something.
yeah like
It's
like
like,
I'm
what
okay
the
with you
fuck are you
calling yourself
talking about?
Julia. Like I don't need you to call yourself like Ayumi whatever.
Yeah,
Like
you are fucking extremely white. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's just something that
Also,
weirded me out recently.
also,
But
congrats to Vox Akuma for hitting 1 million subs, I guess.
okay, pretty good, I guess. But anyways, we'll
I
be
don't know,
helping.
what else?
It was pretty quiet on that, right? I think you were mainly just focused on real life stuff. Place debut.
Well, no.
Okay.
I saw a rabbit once. Fell into a grate, so I had to pick it up with a dustpan. Is that that's the
damn.
dustpan.
Okay.
Because I heard it thumping the ground. And I was like, oh, I've never heard a rabbit thump before, so I picked it up. That was cool, I
Jesus.
guess.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, pretty gonna be. I'm glad you're a good
What
Samaritan,
else?
providing more value than some of those mommy tubers out there. I'm sure. But anyways,
What? Oh
You
yeah,
just don't get
what's
it.
okay? So what's the deal with the latest trend of VTubers? Like, oh, I'm a VTuber, and here's my real life face, and they do it straight on stream. What's the
I
deal with
think.
that?
Well, I don't know if it's. Well, yeah, it is. I guess it's recent in a sense, but it's like I think it's just an extension of people trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna be more lewd and real and whatever the fuck, and then that kind of spills out into like, yeah, I'm just gonna reveal my face because fuck you, kind of
No,
vibe. At least.
there's a difference between there's a difference in the starting points where if you're a face cam streamer and then you suddenly debut with a VTuber model, that's whatever. But if you're a VTuber, then you suddenly decide to show your real life face. It's like, why? Someone's gonna have to explain that to me because I don't get
I
it.
mean, some
The only
people
thing that I
just
could think of is just more of like kind of like getting out ahead of shit and just like,
yeah.
or maybe wanting to sort of lessen the severity of like, I guess like more like psychotically attached fans, right? Like I feel like putting a real face to it then will definitely nuke some bad actors. Of course, you'll still have some, but it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
How
from
would
what I've
that
seen,
nuke
because it's like
that actor
there.
though?
I don't know whether this is
It
as
just gives them
common
more
in
ammo.
it. I don't know whether this is. I don't think this is as common in the Western community, but it's certainly, at least from what I know
No, it's
of.
common in the Western community because they're like, oh, I
No, no, no,
felt
no, no. I don't
predated.
mean the
Here's
reveals.
my
I don't
real
mean the
face.
reveals.
I'm like,
What I was
what?
talking. Yeah. I don't mean the reveals. What I was talking about was the sense of like, from what I've seen and experienced in the Japanese and the Korean communities, and this is not just related to VTubers, but this is being I'm abstracting this more just to the general like female streamers who, or even male streamers who don't really do like face reveals or like don't show their face or stuff like that, and it's part of their privacy, part of it's obviously like for female streamers they don't want to be necessarily like attacked, or like people are like just say really stupid shit because they don't look like Maxim models or whatever, right? Like fucking Playboy models, right? um and all that shit that's going on, and they don't want to be harassed or whatever. If they are pretty, they get harassed. If they're not pretty, they get harassed, right? They're a lot of times it's a lose-lose situation for them. And a lot of times that sort of face reveal ends up coming out on the face of like either they're trying to maybe transition their brand a little bit, or like maybe soften, or like kind of like they've reached some sort of like follower milestone or subscriber milestone, and they're trying to either create more content and buzz around that time, or like do
So you're saying
whatever.
that they plateaued and they're trying to raise the
I don't know
bar?
whether I would say it's because they've plateaued. It's like a lot of them just kind of do it as like, hey, I got to this milestone, now I'm kind of doing it. I don't know if they've put that much thought into it necessarily, but maybe that sometimes happens when they hit a milestone. Sometimes they do it just because they want to kind of transition into that sort of like vibe where it's like, oh, I'm showing my face, or like at least my body, because once they do that, they can do like other stuff, like I don't know, like they can do like ring fit camera like streams or something like that, I guess. Um, and then
yeah,
that
or
sort of
eat
helps them.
bugs
Yeah, or like they can do
or guff.
collaborations more easily with like say other streamers who do turn their cams on, right? So there are some avenues for that, but it's like a lot of the time they kind of just end up doing it as they become bigger and bigger, and they kind of have a change of heart about that. I don't think there's like a very specific like Machiavellian reason as to why they do that. They kind of just do it, but it's more just like taking down that hurdle, because the hurdle uh, before they get to that point. And again, this is why part of why I support VTubers, and like what's kind of happening right now is a necessary evil, just because I do think that having these virtual avatars is very helpful for um, the growth of female streamers beyond just being like considered as cam girls, right? Because it helps people not get harassed online for looking like a certain way, right? So
Who's
it's
that one animator that didn't show their face but it got doxxed and got harassed for it?
I have no idea. But yeah. Session's sorry, I wasn't reading the chat while I was talking a little bit, but Session's also saying similar stuff where it's like lets you collab with people without the VTuber setup and stuff like that. So yeah, it helps with their IRL stuff. But I think a lot of the reveal is less like, oh man, I'm going to do something by revealing myself. It's more just like, before I didn't want to reveal myself for various very valid reasons, right? And now I don't have that much of a sort of reluctance. So I'm gonna maybe reveal part of my face, or maybe I'm even gonna reveal all of my face, or I'm gonna reveal my face with a mask, or whatever it is. So that's
Do you
like the
think?
usual kind of flow thing.
Do you think for like a non-JP? Because my thought process always was
Uh-huh.
to, or like maybe it's even just like not really the JP base, but more of like the
Yes.
Western or like fucking SEA like ESL type shit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Of like sort of like a face reveal after being a VTuber is to like almost quash that part of like a base or a quote unquote fan base that's like literally like going too far essentially with the persona.
Yeah, I mean that could
'Cause it's
probably
just
be a
like,
reason. I
'cause
don't
it's
know
just
whether
like, you
that's
know,
like a
I feel
general
like I've
reason.
seen enough scenarios where there are definitely people who are like way too focused on the like VTuber part and are like
Yeah,
just
I mean not
not
even just
considering them
the
like a
VTuber
streamer
part. It's
at a certain
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Like their
yeah.
suspension of disbelief is too strong for what they're
I mean
for
it's
what they're
not
looking at.
it's not even just like, again, this is part of why I think virtual avatars almost are dangerous in a sense, because it's like, if you the moment you start breathing life into a virtual avatar, right? Let's say it was like a pretty, like an anime picture of like a schoolgirl that's like quite pretty, right? Um, it already, even if people should know better, it already starts warping expectations, because
Yeah,
people start
they
subconsciously
associate
being
you.
like, "Oh, she must be cute," or something like that, right? Or like start having these expectations, even if that's the stupidest fucking thing. And you should never,
Yeah, well,
right?
I mean, think about what comes to mind for me is sort of like old MMO stories of like
Mhm.
dudes like flirting with quote unquote like girls in an
Yeah,
MMO,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah, the
yeah,
classic,
you just gave all your gold
catfishing.
away to like a 40-year-old,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
40-year-old guy.
exactly.
Good job, man.
What's it called again? Catfishing? Is
Yeah,
that it?
catfishing.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean it's kind of catfishing, but it's also like, I mean there are plenty of scenarios where it's just like, you know, there are people that fall into like an RP trap where like, you know, you're basically like signing up for the potential of like, you don't know what you're RPing with, but you're RPing with someone with a female avatar and you've now
Right,
fallen down
exactly.
the rabbit hole.
Yep,
Like
yep.
you're not really being catfished, because it's not like you're trying to take this
You're not
real
going into a
anyway.
real life, real life relationship.
But
It's more just like, yeah,
like
Or
I
are
guess
you?
that's kind of in a way,
it just
well,
looks
that's the other thing
real.
too. It's like if you go too far, then it might turn into an actual like catfish scenario where you think or rather you associate with this like female avatar so much that that's what you're considering this person without even really knowing that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again,
So
there are several dangers to
It's
this,
also
but again,
like, I was just gonna say, just to cap it off too, I feel like it's also, it is one of those things like you said too, where it's, you know, the more you show like of yourself as a person, then the less that like leaking thing, like things leaking or like of your personal life kind of like matters too, or will have like a blow up, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like, you know, take a VTuber or someone with an avatar that now has shown themselves like completely, right? Like you know their face, you kind of like know, you know what they look like, you know that they have a life outside of this. So then if like that life outside of it ever accidentally bleeds on stream at some point or somehow online, it'll have like slightly less of a blow up than, you know, if someone with an avatar is just chilling there and then all of a sudden you hear a guy in the background. It's like,
Yeah. I mean,
uh-oh.
I think the reason, again, sort of going back to Toast's main question, the reason behind why female streamers or male streamers, whoever, decide to reveal themselves is not really that deep. A lot of them are not. They're very good at being funny, but they're not necessarily the best at, like, predicting 1, 1 or 2 or 5 years into the future if I reveal myself, right? They're kind of just like, oh, again, like, oh, I hit a milestone. Let's kind of do like a face reveal or something like that, right? That's sort of how they kind of end up churning it out. But it is, again, a double-edged sword, right? Between, um, obviously, if you show your real face, you put yourself out there as like a real person doing these real things, then if like some more real to life, maybe potentially sordid matter occurs, maybe less savory matter occurs, then you might receive less blowback from it, like you said. But then again, there's also the case of potentially, if you do reveal yourself and you're not like a Playboy model, then, people are like, oh man, they subconsciously become like disappointed or whatever, or they
Yeah.
instinctively become, and it's, it's very unfortunate, but it's the things that happen with having um, that anonymous presence online plus like an avatar that you breathe life into. Again, whether it's static or whether it's just like a picture, or whether it's a virtual animated avatar. So yeah, number one, be attracted. Number two, don't be unattracted.
And that's
I think.
why
I don't know.
my avatar is now, for the most part, is fucking Supersonic Monkey from uh fuck, whatever. You know the show. Kekai Sensen, yeah.
Apparently, I looked a bit more. Apparently, some of these VTubers, they like the cosplay, so they're like, oh, I want to cosplay and hang out with my fans. So I guess they're doing face reveals so they can go to cons,
I
interact with
guess.
their
Well,
fans without any
if it
repercussions.
works out for
I
them,
mean,
then
yeah,
great.
that's fine.
Yeah, I mean
If it doesn't,
transitioning to a streamer that just kind of uses it
No
as a face
longer
cam, I think
a
is kind
VTuber.
of fine.
Yeah.
Can you
I
still
would
call
say
yourself
honestly,
a
the
VTuber then? You're
only
more like a real
scenario
life
that's kind
streamer
of just
now.
like strange is if anyone tries, never fucking go. Oh man, we might get deplatformed for saying this, but full Pokimane. Listen, I'm
the full
sorry. Look,
Pokemon.
I'm sorry, my queen, but I thought that
Yeah.
was a bad decision
Oh, going
to have
back
an
to the
avatar
catfishing
of
story.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
just
Toast.
alive 2D.
Going back to the catfishing story. If you buy an NFT and gift it to her,
What
is
the
it a it's like a marriage NFT, but it turns out to be a guy. Are you still legally married?
Well, it would probably depend on
What
the
the
laws of
fuck
her
is a
state.
marriage NFT? You can get
And
married
we're-
through NFTs now?
It's like an ape with a veil, you know.
Yeah.
it would probably depend on the laws per state. But anyways,
Yeah,
we
I
should
mean, if
probably
you
stop on
get
this tangent.
if you like did the
You are part of the blockchain now.
Yeah, yeah. The
You
marriage is part of the
yeah
blockchain.
the
That's
old
how it works.
block
you
and
are
chain
the
instead of
NFT.
instead of the old ball and chain now, Zoomers with the old block and chain, you
Nice.
know?
Marriage
Yeah.
it's like instead of saying what was a Nietzsche quote? Marriage is a desert or something like that. Instead of marriage being a desert, it's like marriage is
Is an ape.
it's a 1 cent crypto. It's like a 1 cent crypto. It's like,
Marriage is a meme coin.
yeah, exactly. Marriage is a meme coin.
Marriage
But
is
yeah,
when all your
anyway.
apes gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Just bear market, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't
Anyways,
that
thank you, Toast, for your
hold on,
2 weeks.
Dark? Isn't there the NFT burger place in New York? Why don't you check it
There
out?
probably
Dude, I
is.
didn't look at that shit. That looks so fucking rancid.
Don't you want
Anyways,
to be part? But I mean, you could be part of the real life blockchain now. Own part of this
yeah,
store, this
I'll bring my
franchise.
physical crypto in.
Yeah, your physical crypto money.
My paper
Yeah,
my
your
paper
your
crypto.
paper bitcoins.
It's weird. It's like
Ah,
I saw the video about it, and they're like, oh, we're hanging out with all these celebrities, and now they're becoming part of the blockchain and investing in our stores. And I'm like,
yeah, almost like it's a
what?
pyramid scheme or something.
anyways, we should move on. Dark, 2 weeks, please.
My 2 weeks have been a lot of Guild Wars 2. I don't remember if I was even. Yeah, I must have been doing it before the last time because of 4 weeks now. But I've done all but all but 3 bosses in that game. Done some challenge modes in Guild Wars 2 for raiding. Game's very fun. It's not particularly difficult though. Definitely one of the easier MMOs, but it doesn't really have to be hard. It's kind of just fun to do a group raid, learn a boss over the course of like an hour or 2, fucking then move on with my life. But yeah, so the grind continues until I get my legendary armor set in that. And the grind starts for the other sets of legendary armor, which take twice as long, which is cool. That'll be fun. Doing a little bit of FF14. Got that WoW Hopium right now from the Dragonflight Alpha. So there's that. That's looked pretty good. So hopefully that keeps up. And other than that, did some multiverses. Games fun. I kind of just went online with Sin for a couple hours and just absolutely obliterated people with our nasty fucking Rain Dog and Jake the Dog duo.
The dog.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm a Rain Dog main, baby. That character's fun as fuck. Like he spits out fireballs, throws up like fucking lightning that persists. Creates like AoEs on the ground of fire. Then his normals are kind of like nasty too. Like his specials are pretty crazy because he does this like dive that has a huge amount of range and a large amount of knockback. Fucking like air spin. And he also does a ton of damage too. Like he does a lot. So I've been really enjoying that game and that character. It's another example of a game that I kind of memed on when I first saw it, and then I play it and I'm like, this is actually really good.
Turned out pretty good. Yeah.
We're kind of like, I'm trying to think of the other games that I've done that with recently, but it seems to be every single time I fucking do it, I wind up liking a game. And that's another thing too. I mean, I did it with Fortnite when they added Zero build. There was that, but I mean, I always kind of knew that I liked that, but still. Now, also LeBron is back in Fortnite, so you can get him in Fortnite as well. And then,
but he doesn't voice either the Fortnite stuff or the multiverses stuff, right? Which is unfortunate.
Wait, is that not him in Multiverses?
I think so. No.
Damn,
no,
they
I
couldn't
don't
get
think
anyone better than that. If he's not voicing it, that's why I thought it was so stilted and weird. Like,
I mean, it might be, but I don't.
No, he doesn't
think
voice
it's
anything
him.
in Fortnite because he doesn't. There's no voice acting in Fortnite.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was.
At least as far as that goes.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think they just kind of have likeness. I think that's about it. Well, actually, yeah, got into internet arguments with people, so that's always
the classic.
pretty
The
cool shit.
classic.
Yeah, that's basically Dark's favorite fucking pastime.
My favorite pastime is fucking arguing with losers on Reddit because I got nothing better to do.
The thing is, I watch people be stupid on Reddit, but I don't really like getting into fights with them because it's like,
wow, it's almost like that's
point,
not fun.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyways,
fun is subjective. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Dark, for your 2 weeks. I've been pretty quiet myself, just again some real life stuff, and then kind of floating through a decent amount. The thing I noticed this season was that there are a lot of good openings, especially again I kept mentioning this while I was in the Discord, but Overlord season 4 opening by Oishi Masayoshi and the other guy, right?
Hollow Hunger.
Yes, Hollow Hunger is really good. Fuck. And
Are you
a
saying
lot
it's the best opening this year?
I'm not sure if I would say that, but it's very solid. But there's decent amount of other good stuff as well. usually I don't like Clara's songs that much, but Licorice Recoil's Alive was pretty good. I think Kakko no Inezuke's Dekoboko was pretty good. There are a couple of other stuff that was, but I was just like, oh, I'm surprised that there's a decent amount of pretty good stuff out right now. Like, because I usually don't expect that much good stuff out per season. But yeah.
Yofukashi no Uta's OP
Yes,
is also
sir.
very, very
And a
good.
lot of them are also being, just like Yofukashi no Uta and like Overlord. Like a lot of them are being also like done by like, they have like either like jazzy themes or they're being done like more rock and being sung by like these like male bands and not just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna hire like the female seiyuu who's doing one of the characters in here and just gonna have them do an opening like
Why not?
like
It's cheaper.
yeah, it is cheaper, and it's like a lot of times it gets good eyeball value for what it is.
Gets the
But
job done,
yeah, it gets the job
That's
done.
what we're looking for here.
Are you yeah. Whoa. So
Me, right?
hold on a second. There we go. Okay. But are you
Is
saying
you
that
good?
you hate? No.
Are you saying wait, go on.
Are you saying you hate Ado, who is not the voice actor for Uta in One Piece Red, but the just the what is it, the song
Oh,
singer?
she doesn't even voice act that character?
She just sings the songs.
Damn. Okay.
It's kind of like
That's a
that kind of reminds me of
that's
like
a
how
that's a super old
um
tactic, isn't it? You have the voice actor, then you have the singer for the songs. It's like
there's also
who
there's
does that
also
nowadays?
there's also the thing where it's like these days where you can have like separate actors for like or separate people where it's like how there's like a promotional ad for the manga or the light novel or something like that, and then there's a radio CD or like a drama CD, and then there's the actual anime, right? And oftentimes you can have at least like you can have different voice actors for each of them. You can have a voice actor doing like the promotional and like kind of voice acting up the girl in the promotional ad for the light novel, and then for the voice actor you can have another, or for the voice drama, excuse me, you can have
Yeah, but
another voice actor. And then for the anime, you can have a third voice actor. And you're like, oh, okay, like what's happening here?
The worst
of those
example of that
are-
is still really quick. It's fucking what was it? The ad for the house husband anime being Sudaken in live
Fuck
action.
you! Don't
But
mention
then
that.
there's no actual live action fucking house husband or Sudaken Jiro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, like the live action people still did a decent job, but it wasn't Suda Kenjiro.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
fuck
yeah,
yeah.
you might be doing a decent job.
Fuck.
It's, come on.
Yeah, come on. Give me the Kaiba. Give me the fucking Kaiba here. Anyways, so that was my 2 weeks. Pretty peaceful. Also,
how are I was gonna say this opening now that I've listened to it, it kind of reminds me of the beat reminds me of Mummy's Alive. That's
which
weird.
one? Or are you talking about Hollow Hunger?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, what was it? It kind of reminds me like the stuff that like OH have done. Like that's sort of like their collaboration band name or whatever that they're doing for Overlord, as well as whoever did. There was like a female band that did like third opening, right? Veracity or whatever the hell it was called. Um, a lot of these kind of sound like, I don't know whether it's kind of just due to the Overlord theme or whatnot, but a lot of these start sounding like Ollie Project songs. You know what I mean? Which again is also up my alley. But yeah. So a lot of that again. I've been going through. Oh yeah, recently, and this is just again me being a voice actor, a seiyuu nerd, but otaku, I guess. But recently, for some reason, I don't know why, but Amagami has been releasing voice dramas for each of their heroines. And so this is done by the heroines again, or this is, each voiced by their respective seiyuu. So they have like a bunch of like these like different scenarios and stuff like that. And most recently, uh, the girl that I like the most in Amagami, which is Morishima Haruka, the sort of like the older, senpai character type.
You mean the main character? The main first girl that everyone sees.
Yeah, the first girl.
Not the one that everyone likes.
Boring.
Wait, what do you mean by the one that everybody likes? Who
You
who
know
is that one?
You know who it is.
What? No, I don't. Wait, who is it? Who is it?
Kaoru. Everyone likes Kaoru.
Not okay. Not everybody likes Karu. Karu is
More-
quite
more-
popular, though. I will admit.
Show me the polls.
Dark, I think
Who's
also
higher
likes
on the
Karu
list?
a lot. But
Karu is what's her name's right? Voicer. Rina Sato. That one.
yes, it's a sexier
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
in good company with Sugita and his
Yeah.
fucking dozens of save files only for
Yeah,
like fucking
exactly.
Karu.
Who do you like? Is it also Kaoru?
Yeah.
I don't remember
Absolutely.
which one was my favorite, but Karu's pretty high up
Karu
there,
is
right?
like the thing is like I like Karu
it's
too.
hard.
It's just
It's
that
pretty hard to be like.
I don't like
I
Karu.
can't really
Yeah,
imagine many people out there like I don't like Karu. You know, like
yeah.
she's
The
a
thing
good
is,
character.
the thing is, so Amagami people are mostly like friendly like with each other in terms of like camps. Like they don't want to kill each other usually, but it's usually split up between um people that like Nanasaki Ai. I'm pretty sure Nier would probably like Nanasaki Ai, like the swimming girl Kohai, and then Morishima Haruka, the senpai, and then Kaoru, and then the Tsukasa, Tsukasa, who is student, not student council pres, but
She's a similar archetype,
the
right?
class rep,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, the class rep. So it's like we kind of have peace and harmony in that camp. It's like the beginning of Avatar, and then
Yeah, and then the Rihoko is attacked.
and then yeah, and then the Ryuko and also the people that like Sai. Like I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like Sai is like like her storyline isn't bad, but her come on, like I can't. Her voice is just too much. I can't handle that shit, man.
Dude, she's got the twin tails, dude.
And the boobs. She's supposed to have like the largest boobs or whatever, right? But yeah, I can't handle that.
How can you say you like Haruka but you don't like Tsukasa? What's wrong with you, Spire?
I don't hate Tsukasa. It's just that I like Morishima Haruka the most. I think.
But her
I
hairstyle's
feel
so
like
boring.
Kaoru and Tsukasa are like a pretty close two-way tie for second. And then I like Nanasaki Ai after that. Although Nanasaki is pretty good as well. And then after that, it's like a cliff. It's like abyssal zone in the ocean. Like you know when you see the diagram.
Yeah, extreme
of-
power gap. Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, hold on. Was Rihoko, was she the fat one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
her whole plot line was getting stuck in the fence. The hole in the fence. It was really stupid. But anyways, voice dramas has been coming out. The first one was Ryuhoko. The second one was Haruka. They were probably going to be releasing the other ones. God, such a blast from the past. And obviously, since the recent fan patch for Amagami got released, if you guys want to enjoy that, you might as well. But yeah. Amagami.
Yes.
always
Speaking of vocal dramas, what is it? Dungeon Osana Najimi. That came out recently. That was cool. With Ayane Sakura as the Tsundere Dragon and Kirito. Is it Kirito? I think it's Kirito. Yeah, Kirito as the MC. That was
But yeah, actually,
interesting.
that reminds. Sorry, again, I don't mean to get into too much tangent, but I'll just drop the site real quick. But actually, I want to show you
that link.
guys this. But it's like this site is apparently I didn't know about it until like just like the Amagami thing came out. But it's just like
Ew,
they're taking
Rihoko.
all these. They're taking like all these like different series that have gotten made into anime, and like been turning them into like been making like voice dramas and stuff like that a lot like behind them. I don't know whether it's like after the fact or before. Usually there are like voice dramas have become before the anime release have become pretty popular recently, but I think these are also sometimes like after the fact, so I don't know. Anyways, that was my 2 weeks.
Why is Rihoko and Sai on the front page?
Because that was probably some of the more recent additions, I guess. But yeah.
What the heck is this? Who even remembers Ikitosen? Why is this here?
The Shin Ikitosen, right? That's probably
yeah,
that's
Shin.
yeah. That's probably what they're doing.
All right.
I guess, yeah. Anyways, that was my 2 weeks.
Completely defeated by the Mesugaki Devil. Hold on, what is this?
All right. We need to move on. So first on the list here. Oh, it is actually okay. So Toast.
Uh,
What do you have for us today, sir?
did you know in Japan there is no football,
There is no such thing as a football.
only soccer?
Oh. Okay.
I don't know why. I looked it up, and it apparently has to do with World War II.
Oh, well, I mean, I think a lot of the stuff in Japan kind of boils down to those sorts of things.
Because
But they love baseball.
That
do
is
you-
true.
Yeah, that is
Well,
true. Yeah.
what do you mean? What are you insinuating?
I mean, that they don't have American football because they don't like America. Like,
No, they do.
Oh.
iShield 21.
Oh, you mean that? I thought you meant that they call it soccer in Japan and not football.
oh,
No, they.
I thought we were talking about like soccer football,
right,
not
right.
American football.
I mean, it's mostly just
Don't
Europe.
they
that
have
calls-
American football in Japan now? Like just not
It's
like
mostly
a
just
pro league.
Yeah, they do.
yeah.
That
but
was
it's
a
mostly
whole character in Kamen Rider Forza, dude.
true.
Because there's only like what a very small number of countries that call football soccer, and apparently
Yeah, I
Japan is
mean-
one of them.
It's basically just Europe that calls soccer football. Like,
Europe is bigger than the U.S. So.
I mean, yeah, but like outside of Europe,
so we-
football is called soccer.
Yeah, apparently
It also
Australia as
doesn't.
well.
It doesn't. It also doesn't help that like a lot of what we know as like American football and stuff like that, right? Also
TNA.
also have like variants that not variants, but it's like there are sister sports like rugby that honestly I'm gonna be real with viewers here right now. Over in like East Asia, those confuse the fuck out of everybody. People kind of know soccer, and then they kind of know like that game where like people kind of wear the American football helmets, like clash with each other and stuff like that. But they're not really in the know with like rugby and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like that's about it. That's like the extent of like the average Asian person's knowledge on like the hand egg.
So you're saying you like rugby, huh, Spire?
No, that is not what I
Name
said.
name at least 2 rugby anime.
that is
JoJo's
that
Bizarre
is
Adventure Part 1.
Correct.
Oh my god.
Spire, name the other one. Come on, I believe in you.
I have no idea. I have not seen
Wasn't that
any
one like
rugby anime.
1 season ago?
For what, rugby?
Seasons ago? Rugby? Yeah. Didn't
No,
Toast cover one? Like not that long
that
ago?
was
No, that was freaking.
Was it comedy or something?
was-
yeah, that was like
It was
kabaddi or some
comedy
shit.
and also indoor.
There was
Oh yeah, the indoor soccer thing or whatever.
there was
it
that
right?
like really gay rugby series.
Oh, that's the one
few
I'm thinking.
yeah, a
of.
few years back. Where all the boys had shorts like 3 sizes too small. Wow.
What are the
that's the
pictures?
only
What
other
are the
one I can think of.
images? Okay, what are the images I've searched? So I googled rugby anime, and then I went to images, and one of the images is under a link called "Why is there suddenly so much rugby anime?" What the fuck? I'm like,
Yeah,
was there?
it's just all over the place.
Yeah, just like boys, just rugby all day.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see the. You mean this one? This one here?
Yeah, this one all out where the dudes have like
Okay.
absolutely massive asses, like they're fucking ginormous.
You need those asses to get moving, sir.
Yeah, that's the only other one I can think of.
I would have also accepted that one episode in Full Metal Panic.
Yeah, true.
Anyways,
Okay, what was I talking about? All right, so
So your series
this guy?
you still haven't named your series, Toast.
oh yeah, what did I watch? I watched Shoot Goal to the Future, also known as Shoot Goal to the Future.
Yes. So this is from the Aoki Densetsu Shoot manga
Yeah,
series.
that was apparently it's a sequel-ish series.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
I guess
okay.
it is a sequel.
Or it's related. Yeah, okay. No, I understand. I
It's in the
apologize.
same vein as some other
Yes,
weird
yes,
shows that I've
yes.
watched, like Battle Athletes, where it was Battle Athletes Victory Restart.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
That one 3D one that I'm forgetting.
Mhm.
That was a
I
spin-off of something else. It had mecha girls in it.
Frame Arm Girl?
No,
That's
no,
not
no,
it.
no.
No.
Whatever. It was a spin-off of some other like shonen series
Mhm.
that I don't remember. Armored Girl
So,
Senki. That's it.
oh yes, sir.
That's a spin-off of something else.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I'm just
Dan
we're
Ball
just
Senki. There we go.
yes.
Cool.
Yeah, this one is a direct sequel to the first Shoot manga, which is actually pretty old. Like 2000 old? Wow, man, 1990 to 2003. Yeah, it's old.
Holy shit.
But okay, where do I start? So, then the Shoot manga, there's stuff happened. I think some guy had leukemia and died
Okay.
during a soccer game. Then they won a championship or whatever. I guess bunch of characters. I didn't watch the original Shoot. Fast forward maybe, I don't know, let's say 10, 20 years later. I didn't get a exact time frame. So that famous school that the original Shoot manga took place in, now all their soccer teams suck. So
Yeah.
yeah. So now it's a new generation of soccer boys who are trying to revive the legend of, what's the school name? Of the Kakegawa High School soccer league soccer tournament. And that's about it, really. It's like, oh, you remember those old guys from Shoot? Well, now we got a new soccer team. Maybe you should check these guys out. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know this was a sequel, but all right, I'll watch it.
Is it watchable for like even knowing that it's a sequel? Is it like watchable on its own or like what?
Well, there's the captain of the previous series is now the coach for
Okay.
these new guys.
All right.
He's some sort of legendary coach or whatever. And I think that's all I got so far. This is 4 episodes in.
But do you need to know the previous one? Is what I'm saying.
They talk, they give out their names, and I'm like, oh, here's a
Like the events of the first one aren't really affecting this series, right? It's just like the characters carry over.
Yeah.
the
It's just like, oh,
only
we're
the
a new
captain carry over,
generation.
and then they're like, oh, here's, you remember the legend of the previous series, the previous series of Shoot? Here they are, and then they name the characters, and there's a trophy and whatnot.
Right.
Oh, but that's it. Yeah, it's just
I
like, oh,
guess
now
that's it.
you are the new generation now. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so let me talk about the characters. I don't like any of them really.
It happens. It happens. It is this type of series.
So the main character's name is Tsuji Hideto,
Uh-huh.
voiced by Kobayashi Chiaki. Wait, is the guy from? Is this the guy from freaking 01? No, it isn't, is it? Who is this guy?
What's happening?
Who's Kobayashi Chiaki? Oh no, he's the voice of the freaking slime sage guy. Gross. How does he get two main character roles this season?
Sometimes that happens, especially in an industry where you have, um, you know, voice recording room booths with, or voice recording sessions with one male voice actor and 9 female voice actresses
The main
is
character
becoming more common.
from Build
That
Divers
sort of stuff
Re-Rise. Okay.
happens.
But yeah, so the main character Hideo, but his childhood friend calls him Shoot because he's good at shooting soccer ball, I guess.
Okay.
Score. I don't know anything about soccer. He's the guy who kicks the ball
Yeah,
into
you shoot
the
the
goal.
ball into the goal. I think that's part of where
So
the
they
nickname
call him
comes from.
Shoot.
Yeah.
And he's got a tragic backstory because every single one of these sports anime dudes has to have a tragic backstory involving why they quit their sport. So he was a duo with some other guy. I forget his name. Oh, Kokubo Kohei, and they were like the golden prodigies. Kohei sets up a shot, and then Shuto, because that's what they call him, Shuto shoots the goal, and they're like, yeah, that's cool. Then his friend moves to England, to I think to pursue soccer, and then
Okay.
suddenly Shoot sucks because he thought he was like, oh, because I score all the points. I'm the best player on this team, but it turns out he's not. He actually sucks. His friend was carrying him this whole time. So
Is
yeah,
is it really because the friend is carrying him, or is the story trying to be like, oh, they should have worked together to become the
no,
team,
it's
and that's
because the
why they're
friend was carrying. Because he's
Oh,
like,
really?
oh,
Okay. That's pretty funny, actually.
because once the friend went away, he was trying to direct his team. He was like, why aren't you setting up the shot for me? He's like, because you suck. The only one who was able to do that was the other guy. And he's like, oh, I hate soccer now.
But the thing
Okay.
is like, is it more so that like he is like sucks, or is it like no
No,
one else can work around like to set up a shot for him like that?
Pretty much. He's
But
good
then
at
like
shooting,
once the setup happens, like
once the
then
setup
he's
happens, he's
golden.
good at the shot. But
But like
like,
no one's good. But yeah,
no one's good enough
okay.
for him, I guess. I can only play with my friend. And he's like, ever since my friend left, I've hated soccer ever since. He
Oh
plays
yeah,
online
that's
games.
also classic, kind of like after they've left and like after it all crumbled down. I just hate it ever since, kind of.
Then he meets
That's
Ono
classic.
Yuki, whose character is Kazuma Joe. He's got red hair and he's hot headed, and he's like, that super 90s, like 90s, 80s style hot headed shonen character.
Ah,
Super
yeah. I
loud
mean,
and
those
brash.
also have. To be fair, that's like token in like almost every, like in this sort of sports series, it's like token. Like you got to have one of them somewhere.
But he's like dated. It's a dated kind of like super hot headed. Like you know how you have a super hot headed protagonist who's usually got red hair and screams a lot. That's
Yeah,
super 100% Genki energy. Yeah, that's this guy.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
what's his name? Shoot was watching Joe and his team play, and he
Mhm.
was laughing at them. And then Joe was like, "Why are you laughing at me? Do you like don't laugh at soccer?" And then Shoot's like, "I don't." He's brooding. He's like, "I never liked soccer anyway." He's brooding, and I'm like, "Jesus
Classic.
Christ, what is
Yes.
this?
It's the
What
classic.
is with all
The
this?
guy is
It's
just
just
like,
just
oh,
soccer."
I was disillusioned with soccer, and then it's the whole like arc of coming back. It's
Then
it's a
they're arguing and stuff, and stuff
yeah.
happens, and then it's really kind of boring.
I mean, it's the same sort of build up, anyways.
Yeah, they have a shootout match where
Mhm.
Joe's a goalkeeper shoots the goal in, and it's like, oh, this guy's actually good. Why did you quit? Like, why are you making fun of soccer? And he's like, I never said I liked soccer. I just don't care for it anymore. And I'm like,
I
Jesus.
love like the thing is, it's like, I mean, this is an older manga too, but it's like in general, it's just like it's like that quote. It's like war never changes. It's like this thing. It's like sports series almost never change. Where it's always just like this, especially like nowadays when they're even taking on the formula even harder on the chin, where it's like they have the guy. He becomes disillusioned with the sport because either their cat died or their grandmother died or their grandfather died or the childhood friend left for another for overseas or whatever the fuck happened. And he becomes disillusioned. He enters like high school or wherever, and he's just like, oh man, I'm just gonna join the going home club, or I'm just gonna join the fucking like bird watching club or whatever the fuck. And then they have to, the rest of the supporting cast have to drag the fucking shit out of him to be like, hey, you actually want to play soccer? No, you were born to play soccer. And he's just gonna be like, for at least like 2 or 3 episodes, he's just gonna be like, no, like fucking, I'm done with soccer. It's done. It's
Soccer
over.
and I have grown apart.
Yeah, exactly, like shit like that. And that's just gonna be that for like 2 or 3 episodes. And you know, that's been a thing since time immemorial. Like the Egyptians were writing this sort of anime on their fucking tablets back in the days like that. But you know,
It's I'm gonna
is there
blame
anything?
this. I'm gonna blame this on the fact that it's a sequel to an old sports manga, because this thing feels, the story beats feel super dated.
Do you
Because it's
think
like,
do you think it's
it's
gonna
like
go
after the
anywhere in like 12 episodes? Like, when I say that, I mean like, do you think
this
it's
is
gonna go
12
anywhere?
episodes.
Isn't it 12 episodes? Is it more episodes?
The thing with
Mal says unknown, but
Okay,
I
so
I would assume 12 standard, right?
it could be more because it's like a sports series, but
I
I'm gonna
guess.
guess a basis of 12. But it's like within 12 episodes, are you really gonna? I think it's just gonna finish up the first like basic competition or tournament arc, right? And then that's gonna be it.
maybe
That's
because the thing with the older anime is they had a lot of episodes and they took their time with the plot
yeah,
just to
absolutely.
compensate for this, even if it didn't have like a manga adaptation or whatever.
Well,
This
older sports series, like they were long, you know, like
yeah,
they were really long. So
and this feels like it's gonna be long, but I don't, with the length of this being
But
unknown,
they're also packed into
I don't know where this is going.
excuse me, the usual requirements of the whole like 12 to 24 series season these days, unless they're, you know, like Pokemon or you know, Yokai Watch or some shit like that. So, you know, it is what it is.
But yeah, episode 1 they did stuff. Episode 2 is their training arc. Episode 3 they meet up with a friend, and now in episode 4 they're training again. And it's like, even like I said before, even the story beats are outdated. They got some archaic, super cliche training methods for soccer. It's like, oh, for the next 2 weeks before our practice match, or, or yeah, for the 2 weeks for our first match, you aren't allowed to kick a ball. You will only run. And it's like, oh, here we go. And another thing, it's like, for your special training, because you guys suck, you have to stir curry for hours while standing on I think a bench. And it's like, now you have to pick tea leaves. And I'm still like, what does this have to do with soccer? You know, like any other modern sports anime would explain how to play soccer and like show some actual soccer tips.
You think they're gonna set up for a
And this
funny
one
like
doesn't.
fucking flashback in the middle of a match? Being
About
like,
how,
this is
yeah.
just like how when I stirred the curry.
The thing is, I don't think it's even necessarily limited to just like the Japanese sports things, because like I think everybody in the world, or how do I say this without being offensive, but I think a lot of people who are into that sort of cheap catharsis, right? And you know, I can be a sucker for that sort of stuff myself at times, but
I
they
was about to
really.
shit all over Karate Kid right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
How did you know? How did you know that was the exact
Because that's the
series?
fucking classic example, dude.
Oh my! I'm literally leaning back, like fucking
Yep. I
near
fucking knew
red
it,
my
dude.
like the exact series I was gonna do. So it's like,
I would have also accepted
but it's like Karate Kid, right? Where it's like, you know, you fucking have the jacket, right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, why the fuck am I, you know, dealing with this jacket? And then it goes through like the stance, like the basic like deflection and like whatever for kung fu, and everybody's like, oh my god, like everybody, like the thing is like, we were dissing it right now, but it's like everybody kind of loves that shit in a sense, right? It's like, oh, this simple thing, this like this deep meditative breathing later lets me sharpen my senses so I can beat my rival or something like that. Like everybody loves reading between the lines and seeing how that simple thing becomes such a valuable weapon in the face of opposition or whatever the fuck, right? Because just everybody loves that sort of thing. So I don't think it's necessarily limited to Japanese sports series, but certainly it's a very it can be very funny at times, is what I'll say. So
I would have also accepted Dodgeball and or Balls of Fury.
yeah.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball,
Mhm.
But yeah,
Or like even not even necessarily in like movies, but it's like the whole, what is it, like fucking, like sometimes where I don't want to be like too rude about the culture at times, but it's like, how, what is it, fucking, like Chinese and like Chinese restaurants and like Japanese like sushi places have their like horror stories of like, oh, I was forced to wash rice for like 15 years straight or whatever the fuck it is, right? Stuff like that. And I'm sure like some of this stuff is like true. And, part of that is, getting used to the kitchen environment. But some people kind of try to blow it up where it's like, oh, I had to wash rice for 15 years just to understand the nature of sushi itself. It's like, no, I think they just put you on the bottom end of the rock until.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the series that had like the person working at like a sweet shop or something, where it was just like, are you gonna make me like, am I gonna be a full-time like sweets like baker now? And it's like, no, you're still the delivery boy. It's like,
Ratatouille.
no, it might have been honestly an episode of fucking Kamen Rider, if I'm being some random side shit in an episode, but it's like, are you sure? I've been working here for like 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
everybody
you have much to learn.
yeah. You better swing that sword one more time, bitch. But
Yeah.
yeah, everybody kind of loves that like simple catharsis. Oh, even simple things can grow into beautiful butterflies of value and blah blah blah. It's that sort of thing. But anyways,
But yeah, going
digression
back to the
aside,
point,
yeah.
this series is definitely catered toward a Japanese audience that know how to play soccer, not us weirdo Westerners who have more important elective to do other than play
Other than play
soccer.
soccer. Well,
I mean,
I don't know if I
like
split it
archery.
like that, but
I mean, I didn't take soccer as an elective. Who'd want to do that? But yeah, because they don't explain anything. They're like, oh, we're gonna name all these soccer
mm.
terms and soccer positions, and you expect to know it. And I'm like, but I don't know it. You should tell me how to do it. And that's kind of the sports series I prefer, where I don't know anything about this sport. Teach me about it. Even freaking Kabaddi did that. I learned a bit about Kabaddi. Even Ice Shield 21. Let's bring up actual football again. Ice Shield
Mm.
21 tells you the positions and the plays and whatnot. This so far has not. It's mostly been here's soccer positions and we're gonna train. This is 4 episodes in, and I'm like,
Right.
this might not be for me. Did Inazuma 11 also talk about like soccer terms? I bet they did because it's a kids show. Kids
I
have
think,
to
yeah.
learn.
The thing is, like, I've never, like, the thing is, I should probably check one of those out in some distant future, but it's like with Inazuma 11 and like Area no Kishi and stuff like that, and all those like kids like soccer shows, I've never been that interested. Like, there was like when I was a kid, there was this one thing where it's like it wasn't it was a Japanese series. It was like a Korean like kids kind of thing where they had, I don't know, I don't think it even got an anime. It was just like a manga kind of thing. But it's like they had like soccer, but it's like all the players were like dinosaurs. That was fucking awesome. But like beyond that, I've never
Are
been
you
really
sure it's
interested.
Korean inspired? Because I know Korea takes takes Super Sentai and calls it their own thing, even with Korean
Yeah, they
actors.
probably do. But I don't know. It might have been Japanese. I don't know. But it's like there was this like fucking dinosaur just playing like soccer series that was pretty cool. But other than that, I've never been that interested. But anyways, anything else, Toast? Any last words on the
Yeah,
series?
I don't like. What did I say? I don't like the characters.
You don't like any of the characters, right?
There's the regular freaking emo dude. I hate soccer, and once he met up with his friend, he's like, "You're the reason I don't like soccer in the first place." I will say their interaction is super funny though. It's like in one of the episodes, guy meets up with his friend, and his friend is the complete opposite of him. He's super happy-go-lucky with the obvious Shota-like voice, voiced by
Mhm.
Tsuchiya Shinba. I have no idea who this is. I don't see any. The main character in Bakuten. I don't think I remember Bakuten. But yeah, and they got his childhood friend super clingy. It's like, oh, after he scores a goal, he like jumps into his arms and wraps his legs around them, and they laugh. And it's like, oh man, this is kind of
I don't. The way you describe that is.
yeah. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
what?
all right.
And once they met up with his friend, he's like, oh, I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna hug you and almost kiss you. And then the dude's like, while the main character's having like a nervous PSD flashback because of this guy, I hate soccer. And he's like, oh. The friend's like hugging him for like super tight and like smiling, and I'm like, oh man, what is it? PDA.
What
It
the
it
fuck?
was weird, and it's like the childhood friend's like, he's got the flowers hanging out around him like a puppy and blushing, and he's like, oh, Shuto, don't you like me anymore? Don't you like soccer? And he's crying. And he's like, oh, if you don't like soccer, then I guess I don't need this anymore. And he's like freaking like running away with tears in his face while dodging the other team, doing the legendary 11-man dodge into a goal. And I'm like,
Love it, man. Okay.
I mean, apparently that's a thing. It's like, oh, you 11 because it's what 11 players on a soccer team, so you dodge the entire team to score a goal. Only one other person in the series has done that, and it's from the previous series. Whatever. So yeah, the childhood friends is super like the real soccer prodigy here. So the goal of the main character is to prove him wrong. Because the friend's like, oh, why don't you care about soccer anymore? I thought you wanted to chase me. Probably in a homoerotic way, you know. And I'm like,
Okay.
I guess the main character is like, his goal now is to get revenge on his friend and catch up to him and be like, I was worthy of your partner all along. We can be the best soccer team player, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's weak, man. That's a weak main character goal
Yeah, weak mental.
in a way. I don't know. The childhood friend weirds me out. He's too touchy feely. He might be. This whole series is kind of homoerotic in a way, but I guess that's to be expected. But it's only this. It's only really this character that does that. It's not like Futsal Boys where everyone's a bit too touchy feely for me.
Well, yeah, a lot of these sports series tend to run those sorts of risks.
Sports
So
series with dudes, you mean?
yeah. So, anyways, thank you,
So
Toast, for
yeah.
helping to.
What does it look? I don't like how it looks. It looks kind of ass.
I mean, again, it's kind of trying to.
It's
It
kind
bases
of
itself
trying to.
off the
Yeah.
art of the older, yeah, exactly, the older series. So,
Yeah, EMT squared, I guess. What does
yep,
EMT
and it's
squared
EMT
make?
squared, and
Yeah.
it's EMT squared.
EMT squared makes some good stuff though, so whatever.
Hmm. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
I'm gonna go off topic, Spire, but did you know that they're comparing that one pharmacist series to this to freaking what is it? Slow Life Pharmacist? They're saying
Yeah,
like
I mean, I'm not surprised at all that they are doing that.
they're like, oh,
I'm
there's
not
another
surprised at all that
pharmacist
they're
series.
doing that.
This one's just like Cheat Slow Life Drugstore Pharmacist.
Yep,
And they're
yep,
like
yep,
it's
yep. Yep. Yep.
I
I have
believe
zero surprise that the glorious Western anime social media community is doing that sort of comparison.
my favorite comparison is like where was like one dude was like, can't believe this series copied off of this series. I'm like, choose your words carefully. Which
Well,
series are you talking about?
these sorts of people, and I use the term people very loosely, pop up all the time. So it is
Yeah,
what it is.
I'm kind of disappointed in this series.
Yeah.
It's definitely not geared towards complete soccer newbie like me, and it's
Okay.
definitely dated in its approach. It's more suited to people who've actually finished shoot
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
want more of that world, I guess.
Yeah.
Would I recommend this? Not really. I'd actually recommend watching the original shoot. It's
Okay.
definitely going to be more fleshed out and whatnot, because that series is has a lot will have a lot more anime episodes than this will, and I have no idea why. Well, like what the reason is that they decided to do this series. Is it nepotism? Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe they just want to bring. I mean, there's a lot of old series that have been coming back recently. So,
There was
anyways,
another soccer
yes.
series that this was being compared to that just recently came out. What's it called? Aoashi?
Oh yes, yes, yes. That's the other one. I forget if it was this season or the last season, but yes. I mean, again, like Western people make all these stupid comparisons. We don't need to go over each like
Yeah.
retarded comparison they make. But anyways,
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could watch Aoashi instead. I don't think I've seen it.
yeah.
But yeah, so
Anyway,
I'll rate this. I'll rate this a 7 out of 10.
okay. Well, the classic, the classic toast 7 out of 10.
It's not the worst thing I've seen. It's not the worst sports anime I've seen. What did I rate Keijo? Did I rate Keijo a 9? I think I rated Keijo a 9.
You rated Cage pretty high, yes. Anyways, thank you,
Yeah.
Toast,
What a
for
disappointment of a sports series.
for helping to cover uh Shoot Goal to the Future, excuse me, which is a sort of um, not a spin-off, but it's set in the same chronological timeline as Shoot in the general series. So I guess it is
Isn't
what it
there
is.
also was it Mix that they or was it Mix or Touch that they had a sequel to?
I'm not sure. These sports series are, they just kind of make stuff, whatever. It's the same with like Free. Free has had like five different movies, and like now they're on like the third part of their finale, and it's like, it's all bullshit.
Except
Anyway.
Free isn't freaking old enough yet to have a
Yeah,
successor
yeah.
in the future.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it
just
was
saying like they're like spin-offs and all this bullshit. But anyways, I do want to move on. Thank you very much, Toast, for helping cover Shoot Goal to the
that's
Future.
my one for the season.
And moving on, Near, what do you have for us today?
Um. So I watched. Uh. What is this? Renmei Kuugun Koukuu Mahou Ongaku-tai
Yeah,
Luminous Witches.
it's like
Also known as
the
League of Nations Air Force Aviation Magic Band Luminous Witches.
yeah, the name is like atrocious. I forget if I could.
Yes.
Let me see if I
This is
can
the
read
strike,
this.
which is not exactly, but is a series, right?
Yeah. Um.
Yeah, it's Renmei Renmei-kun Kokumaho Ongaku-tai Luminous Witches.
Yeah.
Fucking also known as
Um.
Idol Witches.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Ongaku-tai Witches.
So this is a Strike Witches spinoff.
Sure.
This is
By the
done
way,
by.
this is a very important question I have to ask right off the bat.
Yeah.
Again, sorry for interrupting, but can you watch this without watching all of the Strike Witches stuff before?
All of it, or just any of it?
Are there reoccurring characters in this series?
No. 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 Um.
Any allusion to the previous series?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's
So
obviously set in the universe, but it's like in terms of
yeah,
like continuing storyline. Do you need to know like any sort of
no,
continuing storyline
no.
kind of
This
stuff?
is
Okay.
so Strike
So as long as
Witches.
you kind of know Strike
Yeah.
Witch's
So
stuff.
Strike Witches, for those who don't know, is a fairly old um series at this point. And it's
This is kind
basically
of sad that we you could say that.
yeah. But it's basically you strap airplane propellers onto a little girl's legs, and then you show their butts.
And panty witches.
Yeah, and
That's their
then
like the Western name.
And
and
how
Western
old
they
are they
nickname.
near?
they're like
You don't
teenagers. Yeah.
talk about that.
They're like
Um.
schoolgirls. They're all
All right.
schoolgirls. That's the
Yeah, they're
whole. Yeah.
schoolgirls, but
Mm.
and they shoot aliens.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the series has been going for quite a while. It's sort of bounced between like actually trying to continue like the storyline of like the Warfront story and just
Mm.
being a general like slice of life slightly edgy series.
Yeah.
Um
And it's quite popular
yeah,
in
it's
general.
pretty
In general,
popular.
like nobody like
Um
goes out and like says like, "Oh yeah, I love," but it's like it's quite popular, and
Are
that's
you
yeah.
why
sure?
it's been
I've
getting
heard
series.
people say, "Oh yeah, I love Strike Witches." "Oh yeah, I love Girls and Panzer." "Oh
Well,
yeah, I
those are
love
the
Vivid
same
Thread."
types of people
Yeah.
who kind of go out and be like, I'm a fucking furry, and it's like, it's sort of like you kind of like
Yeah.
leave those people alone. You don't like most people who are like, reasonable about stuff like Strike Witches, don't go out and go like, yeah, I love Strike Witches. That's not
Are
that's
those?
not
Yeah.
something that you say at parties.
The
Let's just
Strike
say.
Witch's back tattoo.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Which
so
is
this
more
is a
socially acceptable though, Strike Witches or Girls and Panzer?
Girls
definitely
and
girls and pants
Panzer,
here.
yeah, for
Definitely Girls
sure.
and Panzer.
Anyway,
Um
sorry.
yeah, so
Mm,
this is a spin-off done by Shaft, and
Shaft.
sure.
um this one isn't really about fighting aliens. So this is a idol series set in the Shrek Witches universe
So
where
they've transitioned from like, because the one before this, the Strike, which is like spin-off, right? The 501st, whatever it was, right?
yeah,
That was like a much slower slice of life stuff that almost didn't really deal with that much of action, if I remember correctly, right?
I
And
think
then
so. Yeah,
and
there
then
was
this
still a bit of
makes
frontline stuff, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Hold
then
on a
this
second.
makes like the full kind of heel turn. I don't want to say heel turn, but it's like it makes the full turn into like, fuck it, we're doing idol stuff now. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah. Hold on a second. I thought this Strike Witch technology was supposed to be military tech. Now they're just using it for idle
it
tech.
it, it is. So
We're doing stuff
this
again.
Military idols.
the story is or the initial setup is essentially um so again, this is sort of where it gets into like I do think you need to have some cursory knowledge of like strike witches,
Yes.
because they don't really care to like introduce you to the concepts of like what strike witches are, what magic is, um, like within this world and stuff. It kind of just presents it to you, and it's just like, yep.
Yeah,
And
I think it's reasonable at this point because it's like Strike Witches is just like so like big and like I don't want
yeah,
to say like clumsy, but it's like it's kind of like an amalgamation of like stuff. It's just like there's so many like
yeah.
favorites
I
everywhere.
mean,
You're like, you
it
can't.
doesn't exactly have super consistent world building to it either.
Yeah,
So
it's just kind of like they keep adding on to it, and you're like, okay.
yeah, like this is fine. But the basic setup is like the main cast, the cast in this series is basically uh, a bunch of effectively rejects, right? Like witches that are unable to fight on the front lines due to whether their magic is weak or, um, their familiars aren't like able to give them consistent amounts of magic power, or they suck at shooting. They're
Mhm.
just bad. Like,
They
you
just
know,
suck.
or whatever the case may be, they're not fit for combat. And so there's this retired witch that sort of does this music um like show to sort of uh basically to lighten people's spirits, right?
So
um
like Macross, but not
but not yeah, I
the
guess, yeah.
Macross, but they aren't in cool planes. They're just the idle part.
Yeah. Um, so they sort of all get together through, this like recruitment thing, and then, they do idol stuff, right? And it's okay, it's it's very much like it's obviously very much tied to strike witches because again they go into like witches and you know the front lines and all that stuff, and there's a decent amount in this series of like additional like world building and stuff, and like how um like the military sort of operates, that Strike Witches hasn't really expanded upon before. But for the most part, it's like a
In
lot
a
of
dark
just
tone?
no, just in a like yeah, like this is how it works. Like this is what's happening.
Oh, so it's pretty much
Um,
it's almost like some of those like science fiction books, like side books back in the day, where like literally all that book was it was almost just like an encyclopedia. Like they had like almost like encyclopedia, like quasi encyclopedia books
yeah, I
of
mean
how the world.
it doesn't go quite that deep, but it's sort of like yeah, like
Okay.
sort of the logistics behind what witches get assigned to what squads, and how like uh obviously um the person that's sort of trying to get this music thing together, like they're trying to recruit more people, but then obviously all like the like admirals and tacticians and stuff are like, well, we're not going to send like battle able witches to go sing, right? Like that's stupid. um
Right, right.
so like they get a bunch of rejects and stuff, and it goes into that. And, um there's just a bit more of like the general like world of Strike Witches, like this sort of civilian life, um, compared to like, because Strike Witches normally like all the day-to-day stuff that isn't like action, it's pretty much all on military bases, right? You don't really
Yes,
see
yes.
like the everyday people. This has a little bit more of that, which is a nice touch. Um, but it is very much mostly just character interactions and like slice of life stuff between the girls, and then uh power of music type stuff. um
It almost feels like a Macross switch in a sense, like there or like a
sort
like
of
an
sort of
inverse
yeah.
or like an inverse Symphogear kind of thing, where it's like they go from like, yeah, we got to do this, and then it's like it kind of adds more and more like idle and just like doing whatever stuff.
Yeah. Cause so the main character, or I mean she's basically the main character. There's like a main trio, um
Yes.
and then like the rest of them are all kind of just supporting characters, but the main girl, um whose name is Virginia Robertson, um
Oh,
she
I had forgotten
has
about the names of
yeah
the characters in Strike
yeah
Witches. I
names in
forgot.
Strike Witches are a whole other beast.
They are a hoot.
Yeah. Um, she is a night witch, which is apparently a witch that is capable of like transmitting like magic as almost like a radio wave kind of thing. And so she's able to like uh you know like use her like music to sort of transmit uh outward, right? Um
Mhm.
So there's very much like they're very much going for like, power of music to alleviate like, you know, the harsh realities of, life on the front lines for the other witches and stuff.
Mhm.
But for the most part, so far, these first three episodes are very much just like they're very lighthearted, slice of life, back and forth, a bit of comedy, girls doing girl things. Um, in terms of audio visuals, I mean, it's Shaft. It doesn't look too bad. It's
Yeah, I
it's pretty
mean,
standard. It's about what you'd expect from really any strike, which
I
is
forget when
um,
when did Shaft take over the Strike Witches stuff? Because I know early
pretty
on it was done by
sure.
Gonzo, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first.
Wow.
I think
Okay.
this is the first one they've done because recently, because the 501st like spin-off thingy was done by like I don't even remember. It was some weird like uh random side studio, but like the
Yeah.
other the other stuff like Brave Witches and whatnot, I'm pretty sure were done by like Silverlink. So
Yes, you are correct. Yes,
yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure this is Shaft's first foray into the Strike Witches series, and I mean they've done a decent job. You get the occasional like iconic Shaft smile. There's no head tilts or anything. But yeah, it's directed by what's this guy's name? Shoji Saiki, who's he's a industry veteran. Like he's worked on quite a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean this is a solid show, I think. I do think you need to have a little bit of experience with the Strike Witches series. Maybe, I don't think you necessarily have to be like a big fan of Strike Witches. Maybe some people were off put by like the fan servicey aspects of it. This series doesn't really have that so far. It's much more tame. Um, like there's no panty shots that I've seen so far.
Mhm.
Which some people might say heresy for a Strike Witches series, but you know, it is what it is.
Mhm.
Um, uh, as for like the music, I mean, it's idol shit, right? Like it's not really all that notable.
Uh-huh.
It's about what you expect. The idol like performances that they've done and shown like in the OP has some pretty bad CG in them, which is a bit disappointing. Um, but I wasn't really expecting Shaft to really go all out for Strike Witches, to be honest. Um, but I'd say overall, I would recommend it if you're at least a little bit interested in Strike Witches. Obviously, I'd recommend like starting at the ground floor for Strike Witches because I'm a Strike Witches fan, so I just recommend it in general.
I mean,
Um,
I think overall, it's like if you're, and we have to be honest with ourselves, right? It's like it's not like Strike Witches is like some sort of like
yeah, I mean
very like
it's not like
I'm gonna show Strike Witches to my parents kind of thing. But it's like
yeah,
I think it's
it's not
definitely
like
something that
high
can be
art or anything,
yeah,
but like
but I think it's definitely something that can be enjoyed
yeah,
for sure. And there's a decent amount of stuff to go through. So checking it out, from the beginning isn't too bad. And it's not like the animation is like I don't think even like the first season animation is like that really dated, where it's like you're gonna be looking at it, it's like oh what the fuck is this? So it's a pretty decent look through, I think, even just starting from the beginning, in
yeah,
my opinion.
and pretty much every Strike Witches series, whether it's the first series or the second season or the sequel stuff or the spin-off stuff, they've all got a very colorful cast of
Uh-huh.
characters. Like pretty much all the characters in this series are very likable. Um, you've got your standard three. You got like the main girl, which is kind of just an airhead who likes music. Um, you've got the brown-haired girl with like the Calico cat ears, um, who's like a super introvert kind of like anxious girl. And then you got the other blonde girl whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because um it's like super Russian and it's literally a running joke that nobody else in the series can pronounce it. Um but then you got everyone else like the dark skinned girl whose familiar is a Kiwi who's like, you know, just a complete idiot. Um and she's very reminiscent of the dark skinned girl from the first series actually, which is pretty funny.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're all fun characters. Um and Trick Witches is just a fun series, I think.
Yeah, Strike Witches
So
is a fun romp for sure.
yeah, I'd recommend um just in general. I think
Mhm.
it's good to have, prior knowledge of Strike Witches stuff, but I think if you're interested in a light-hearted, like slightly idle focused series, then I guess check it out.
Mhm.
It's pretty fun.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for helping to Nier
Yeah,
for
who's your
helping to
favorite? I mean, who would win in a fight?
yeah, that's the more important question.
Um, I mean, like between these characters or what?
From these characters and Strike Witches.
I mean the strike witches, because all of these characters are losers that can't fight.
But how do you know that? What if one of them has unlimited potential?
The classic. But yeah, again, thank you very much, Nier, for helping to cover Luminous Witches. Again, I know this is one of the sort of, I guess, at least for people that like know what's up with Strike Witches, which, we might be a little bit older, right, than the average,
Yeah.
Danmachi. I don't know why I keep bragging on Danmachi, but it's like the average Danmachi,
Oh
viewer
no!
might.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Down. You
I think
don't rag on Danmachi.
Yeah.
another small piece of trivia that I forgot to mention for this
Mhm.
series is that all the characters are actually based on like famous singers.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know if that means much in the overall like grand scheme of like how the
It's a
characters
cute like
play
Oh,
out,
is
but
one
it's
thing.
based
yeah.
off of Kelly?
Yeah. But
Oh, sick, dude.
but it's just a fun little piece of trivia that like all the characters are sort of based on like famous singers of like different genres. It's probably not going to mean anything, but it's cute.
Like Beyonce and
Um,
Jay-Z.
like the main girl, yeah, like the main girl is apparently based off some Scottish folk singer. Although
One's based off of Bjork.
doesn't really like you could have fooled me because the only song that she's sung so far is a Japanese version of Amazing Grace. So,
What?
Wait, what?
yeah.
I mean,
Like-
the people. Okay, so
Like
to be fair, like the
Grace,
people
or
who
what are we talking
are
about?
the people who are behind like Strike Witches and Luminous Witches are not like they're not scholars, right? Is
No.
how I'll
Well,
say this.
yeah, but
You know,
there's
it
between scholar and fucking coming out swinging with a Japanese version of Amazing Grace. Like, damn.
Yeah, like it's Amazing Grace with like Japanese lyrics that are sort of thematic to the show's like I guess overall theme, which is like reaching out with the power of music. Yeah, it's a little
Sorry,
weird,
brother, but
but
I'm not gonna stand for that.
yeah.
Cecia's like on the people who like make Strike Witches. Like they're not good people. Maybe not even people.
Yeah, probably not, but
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways,
but they make an entertaining series, so
yeah.
Why's
I
it got to
agree.
be Amazing Grace? Why's it got to be Amazing Grace? That's a
Because Amazing Grace is one of
It's-
the only American songs that Japanese people know. That and
Yeah.
like some like a few Christmas songs and like
and like
whatever.
country road.
Jingle Bells, yo.
Are they gonna have Mariah Carey Christmas for the Christmas episode?
Not even the. Do you not know the meme about like the sad Christmas songs that like the really shitty like cheesy sad Christmas songs that come on
Yeah, it's
during
just
Christmas
all
time,
those.
like in Japan? Yeah, it's like that sort of shit.
Christ.
Anyways, thank you Nier for helping to cover.
Yeah, what would you rate it?
Would you?
I'd give it a solid 7.5, I think.
Okay.
Is it
Pretty
better
good.
than the original?
Circus
No,
is pretty hard to beat.
but
Yeah.
it's fun. So.
Yeah. So thank you for covering Renmei Kumahu Ongaku-tai Luminous Witches, also known as Ongaku-tai Witches, also known as Idol Witches, or also known as Luminous Witches. Thank you for Nier for helping to cover that extension of the Strike Witches universe. And moving on,
What would be the next edition? The Girls and Panzer / Strike Witches crossover?
Because they haven't done that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done that. And if they did that, they'll probably make the Japanese side of the internet explode.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I'll go next. And my series that I'm going to cover is another one that got, I guess, is pretty also somewhat unique. Is Teppen, Laughing Till You Cry, I believe is the localized title there. So this is a series
Wow, the
about
Capcom card game.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a series about how it's like a fictional world where, like their trios or like duos of people can compete in like manzai competitions, and it just so happens that a lot of these cute girls.
Hold on a second. Is this the one
Yes,
that got canceled?
yes, sir. I'm going to get into that
Nice.
in a little bit. Um, So it just so happens that, because these competitions are like big and famous, a lot of these like cute anime high school girls also start forming duos, trios, and start performing their own manzai skits to win at these competitions. And for those of you who are wondering, you keep saying, manzai, manzai, what is this? So
Have you
manzai
seen
is one.
Toho M1? That's a monster.
Yeah, that's a good that's a good example actually, Toast. Thank you for the reference. Um, but manzai is one of the major forms of like sort of officialized or formalized in a sense a Japanese comedy, or comedy in Japan. And it's honestly not even just like a form like a style of comedy slash like a type of skit kind of thing you do, but it literally, in my opinion, it forms like the actual backbone of like current like modern Japanese humor slash comedy stuff in general. I would say honestly, um, and it's kind of a back and forth. It doesn't necessarily have to be just between two people. It can be between multiple people. But the general idea is like you keep up this like comedic pace by having one person kind of or like a group of people say or do stupid things or like misunderstand stuff or whatever, and that's sort of the general bokeh rule. Or and the other rule, the tsukomi rule, is sort of like the reaction to that, like the misunderstanding or whatever, and they kind of correct it or like go overboard or like react like, "What the hell are you even saying?" Like did you even hear yourself say that stupid thing? Kind of that sort of reaction, and that's sort of like the pace that you run, and that's the sort of comedy engine that they use. So the manzai again is focused on having an idiot or like having somebody misunderstand stuff and be like, "What?" What?" And then the tsukomi, the reaction part, go overboard and kind of be like, "Hey, no, you freaking idiot! That's not how you do it." And then you get the last, and then you go on to the other skit or whatever. And this can be done either just as a general dialogue, or it can be part of a storytelling process or whatever it is. So this
Quick Spire,
story
name one manzai. One manzai duo. Go.
downtown.
Good.
Okay.
Win this round.
Okay. I mean, I'm not that ignorant, but it's so this series is
You think Germa is a manzai?
he could be potentially.
In real
Him in
life,
chat.
judging from the stories, yeah.
But so this series again, or it has like the girls like participating in the manzai competitions and stuff like that, and it the series itself is quite episodic in nature, and each episode follows the girls kind of going through um their lives while living as girls, but also in this sort of like world where it's kind of like dominated by like manzai, like skits, and like they're focused on like, oh, I have to win the competition, I have to be good at manzai. But I also have all these like life issues, whether it's like trying to catch up to my parents or whatever it is. Like I have all these like personal issues that I also have to deal with. So it's kind of like what a lot of these say recent idol series, for instance, are doing, except it's in the form of manzai instead of school idols. So it's kind of like
Now let
that.
me ask Spire.
Yes.
Is this series solely located in Japan, or do they have exchange students from America who do manzais?
I'm pretty sure this is all. I'm pretty sure this is all like Japanese stuff because it's like
There's no
especially.
foreign exchange student who speaks English.
Listen,
Like,
man,
oh Jesus.
the Japanese are masters of comedy, so
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
the only people capable of
Of
mastering the
making
art
people laugh.
of manzai.
Yeah.
So,
of making people laugh, especially with the pure form of manzai.
Yeah,
But
when's the abroad episode where they go see Kramer at the Laugh
no,
Factory?
no, 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 no. Where is the foreign adaptation, the Netflix adaptation of this? This is what you're saying. I want fucking
No,
Seinfeld.
it's like
I want Seinfeld as one of the anime girls. Okay.
Hey, Spire, I'm gonna post this picture. There you go. When does this happen?
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would happen in sometime
In
sooner
this
or later.
series,
But
nice.
well, not in this series, but I think probably in another. But
yeah, it's got to be
there.
real.
You did
Yeah,
mention
it's gotta be.
downtown after all.
But I so a lot of these like episodic stuff is like, you know, sometimes or I guess yeah, sometimes they go into like the actual telling of the skits and like kind of showing a little bit of the back and forth Mazai dialogue here and there. But a lot of that is kind of bolstered by the real life events or like the real events that are happening to the girls, and they either tell that in the skit or that's sort of the real life event is the bulk of the episode or stuff like that. And while these real life things happen, right, like let's say they have to fix a statue or they have to talk it out with you know the team members or like the Manzai group members on like how to resolve an issue or whatever, they kind of run the Manzai shtick as well. And like so they'll be talking with each other, and they'll have like these like random like comedic like misunderstanding, like small misunderstandings or whatever. And one of the girls will be like, "No, you idiot, that's not it," or whatever. So the series is kind of showing a meta manzai. They are showing the manzai stuff in quote unquote the real life of these anime girls. So that's a thing that's happening. But a lot of times, like how I think about this is kind of like my thought towards. I guess I'll start from like the bottom and work myself up to the top in terms of like concept wise for this series. And I'm not very enthused about like anything in this series. It's not. It's oh, like I get what's happening, but like it's very like I'll maybe like grin a little bit on like some of the jokes, but most of it's very like whatever. Like this is very like I feel
Again,
like a lot of
are you
this.
saying these Japanese high school girls aren't funny?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
What was
rude.
that? What was that one
Nope.
Rakugo anime? Was it just
Rakugo Shinju?
yeah? Are you saying it's not as funny as that series? No, no was it Rakugo? No, it was the series about the.
W-
It was another series about Japanese girls doing work.
Yoshiraku?
Yeah, Joshiraku. The
Yeah, there you
Joshiraku
go.
is good. Joshiraku is good, but it didn't really focus. I mean,
I
I
think
guess
the
this one
closer one
also
was a
doesn't.
couple seasons ago. There was a duo one.
Yeah, I think
There was like a
no,
comedy
fuck, no,
duo.
I know
thing.
what you're talking about. Yeah, I forget though. But I forget the exact name. Sorry, I know what your series you're talking about, but I forget the name.
So in terms of comedy series, which is it? Is this a Danchikoko Sei no Nichijo or a regular Nichijo?
Those are two extremely high bars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fire.
that's why you're beside us now. It's like
How
the it
funny?
try,
How funny is their manzai?
it tries to run itself like a Daiichi Kokusei no Nichijou, again with like the slapstick and like the bokeh tsukkomi kind of stuff. But it's just not that funny because it's trying to go through the pace too much. It's trying to like show it's not really, it runs out of gags and like funny content too quickly, and it's while it's still trying to be like, okay, we need to still have this like manzai stuff going on in the series all the time. We just need to have this stick boom 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 boom, and it's just not that funny. Especially since they run out of material very quickly, and it's just again just going through the paces isn't that funny. It's kind of like how I sometimes saw like how did I say this? in America and like in the English speaking community of sorts, right? There are comedy sketches and there are sort of like, well, it's like this. It's like I really find stuff like not necessarily like Kevin Hart, but like Chris Rock and like a lot of the people who do like these individual sketches pretty funny. But I'm not a big fan of like the regular like SNL like daily or weekly sketches. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's like the every time where they just kind of have to shit something out, right? And they're kind
Yeah.
of just doing it. It's very much the same idea again in Japan and in Korea where it's like there's that sort of thing and they just have to shit out these like daily skits or weekly skits. And it's just I'm not very enthused about that and I don't think they make that great content. And obviously this is worse because they're not huge, they're not large like fucking SNL, so they have less material to work off of. So I think this a lot of the comedy here falls flat on its face, but they keep trying to push it forward because it's supposed to be about Manzai, so we gotta have Manzai and blah 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 all the time. And then on top of that, it gets very busy because in the first one or two episodes at least, they try to cover or at least the first couple of episodes, not necessarily episode two, but in the first couple of episodes they try to um sort of cover they try to introduce all the relevant characters that are gonna be shown in the series like immediately. They're just like, oh, here's the trio, here's the other trio, here's the third trio and stuff like that. They're trying to introduce everybody, and then on top of that they're trying to run, they're trying to add in a little bit of Manzai stuff here and there, and on top of that they're trying to kind of show like what the Manzai competition world is like, and on top of that they're trying to flesh out developments for all the characters. So it's just they're juggling too many balls, and some of the balls are extremely difficult to juggle. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh yeah, a Manzai series is easy." It's not. A Manzai series is not easy. A Rakugo series is not easy, in my opinion. But they're just trying to juggle too many balls, and a lot of these things are just hard to pull off, I think, and it's just not very good. So I think the source material probably also struggles a lot with that. I believe it is a manga original, but yeah, it's I'm not a big fan of it in general. The way it's paced, the way it's kind of developing stuff, the way the Manzai stuff kind of pans out, it's just not great for me. And I think a lot of this is kind of again a little bit based off the source material. The guy says he said that the manga was based on so there's a voice acting unit or voice actresses unit, Seiyu Sanshimai Team Y, who also has like a YouTube channel. So there are these like three voice actresses, Sasaki Mikoe, Aimi, and Ito Ayasa, who also kind of bring on some other like voice actresses from time to time, and they just kind of run like YouTube comment and they work on their group or something like that. And they brought those like voice actresses together to do like as the basis of the series, and they have them voice the characters for the series. And it's like a lot of this kind of just seems contrived and just like, oh, I want to make this because I just had this like fetish and not because necessarily I had, really good ideas. So I think it was built on a faulty basis, which I think was a little bit unfortunate because um part of what is it? Like the director, for instance, the two directors, if you look at them, they have pretty yeah, they have pretty decent roles, or not roles, but they have pretty decent history. So it's like Takamatsu Shinji, who is a chief director, has worked on a bunch of stuff. He's worked on like Kintama, the majority, a big portion of Kintama, Gundam, like a bunch of stuff. What is it? The script writer, Kumagai Jun, has also worked on. He actually worked on Rakugo Shinju. He worked on Showa no Rakugo Shinju. So in my opinion, the staff was pretty ready to deal with this sort of like premise, It's
Yeah.
just that I think the series itself is, I don't want to say like unrescuable, but it was not built on a proper basis is what I want to say. So
Sounds like they should have hired professional comedian downtown,
yeah.
or like I guess if they're not funny, then it's like, oh, if you're a
Yeah, yeah,
jokester and
exactly.
you're
They should
not
have
funny, then
had
it falls
some
flat.
references. Like yeah, I definitely agree. Like they should have talked with some comedians or like had the artist. I don't know, like just had a better base. It was not a good base for the anime adaptation, and the audio visuals are also um the visuals are okay. I wouldn't say like the frames and like the general like animation quality is okay, but the character designs are pretty nice. And I looked into that, and the guy behind Symphogear, right? The
What?
animation director and like the general guy behind Symphogear is the character designer guy for these characters. And
So
but
are they like transforming into their manzai
that would be pretty
outfits?
cool, honestly. But unfortunately, like transforming while doing Manzai, that'd be pretty cool. I'll watch that. But unfortunately not. But while the character designs are cool, like the in between frames and like the general like animation quality and like the number of frames, just
What studio did
not.
this?
It is Drive Studio. Drive Studio is like a smaller studio. They've recently been doing I f- they got some money by working on Konosuba, the Megumin spin-off, as well as some other
Right.
stuff, but it's mostly been in between animation, like helping other stuff. But what's worse, and I think also this is a little bit of part of the problem, is that look at all of the subcontractors. There are
Right.
like 1,000,001 subcontractors on this. So I think,
Yeah.
it's like it's like kind of what happened with at least the earlier parts of Alice Tuzoroku, right? And I think Dark was complaining about that
Right,
when he
right,
was doing
right.
his review,
With like
where
the
it's like
weird
there were
3D and stuff.
yeah, there were like 50 different subcontractors, and I think this is just like a theory, and obviously Japanese industry culture has had a problem with like subcontracting with turtles all the way down since forever. But I think my general rule of thumb is becoming like the more, at least in the recent years, my general rule of thumb has been the more subcontractors you see and the more like different like second key animations and in between animations or whatever, the more of these subcontractors that you see dogpiled on an anime, the potentially more problematic it can become.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just, it was a bad sign when I first saw it. So a little bit fortunate, but what can you do? Sometimes the studio kind of conks out. Sometimes it has to subcontract 1 billion people, and even if you have good, central leaders, if you have a bad base, it's gonna be fucked up. So it was a little bit unfortunate. And oh, another thing I want to mention that other than like the whole like voice actors and stuff like that is that so Manzai in Japan, so although Manzai is technically a form that's available in different forms all over Japan, Manzai is just because of how in the past century or so, the most popular form of Manzai has been Osaka Manzai. So Osaka, being sort of the major region slash city of West Japan, the Kansai region, and so a lot of Manzai is stereotypically associated with um, Osaka and like Kansai Ben and like West those sorts of accents. So there are literally like Manzai people who will, especially since it's like how do I say this? I don't want to sound like an East Japan, like Tokyo-ite kind of like mean Tokyo-ite kind of person, but it's like a lot of times that sort of like accent, like Nandeyanen, like sort of like so the way it is, it's like a lot of the Japanese people are stereotyped as like sort of not country hicks, but like kind of rough around the edges, kind of just like kind of very much more frank and just like kind of prone to like just bursting out and just saying shit, right? Um, and so that sort of stuff has become popularized in the way manzai is done. So a lot of manzai duo people these days will use Osaka ben, Kansai ben, like those sorts of accents, just to accentuate their brand of comedy. So that's like a thing, and that is also very much a thing in Teppen, and you'll hear pretty much like 80% of the cast just speaking in their accents, whether it's like the Western accent or like even just stuff like Ibaraki ben, like Ibaraki accent, although that's like East Japan still. Um, I don't know whether I'll hear like I forget like all the different like stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if I heard like a Kumamoto ben or like a Hiroshima ben somewhere in there. But yeah, it's like fucking you hear one or two episodes of Teppen, and you'll hear enough fucking Kansai Ben to last you for the next 5 years as a foreigner. Like it is like everybody's speaking an accent there for some reason. So that's just like another kind of just thing I want to point out. But that's pretty much about all I had for Teppen. I would not really recommend that you watch this series. I think it was just made on a poor material. And if you want to go see some stuff that's more just like, Rakugo or Manzai or whatever, watch popular Japanese variety shows. Pretty much any like general like Japanese variety talk show, kind of like comedic talk show kind of thing, is more or less based off of Manzai. Like I'm not even kidding. That's just how it works these days with modern Japanese comedy or formalized comedy. And if you want to watch Rakugo in a more like anime format, go watch Rakugo Shinju. So but yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about Teppen. Again, the English localized title is Teppen, Laughing Till You Cry. This is a manga adaptation or manga original adapted into anime by Drive Studio and, the 50 other subcontracted studios or whatever. But if you really want to go through it, I guess you can check it out. And last but not least, we have Dark. What do you have for us today?
Um, yeah, so I'm covering RWBY Ice Queendom.
Very cool.
I was
Why
always
is it
afraid
called
this
Ice
day
Kingdom
would
anyway?
come. I have no fucking idea.
Is it because Weiss is now the main character? That's Weiss, right?
Now, he's not the main character.
But what's
It's
Weiss?
the same. So broad strokes, RWBY Ice Queendom is literally the same thing as RWBY, but it's being redone by Shaft. So, you know,
Do they have like the same voice actresses, like with Ruby doing like
do you
Hayami Saudi and
think
stuff?
I'm fucking watching this shit in English?
No,
That
no, I
you're
meant,
He
no, no,
means
I
were you
meant,
watching the Japanese dub of
yeah, the
RWBY
for
before this?
Japanese are the Japanese stuff
I
like.
don't know. I don't know what the hell they dubbed RWBY season 1 in it, or if they even ever dubbed RWBY
Oh,
season
okay,
1,
no,
dude.
they have
RWBY
they
season
they
1 was
kept the
fucking
same people.
20 minutes long, Spire. Like,
I
I don't fucking
wouldn't. I
remember.
have no idea what's going on. So
Like 8
that's
years ago.
okay.
But yeah, so I mean, if this is the current voice cast of JP Ruby as well, that's fucking honestly absurd to begin with. But we'll get to that. But so RWBY Ice Queendom seems to just be a retelling and like elaboration of season 1. Which is I would say when when it was at its height. So
What is the basic backstory of RWBY?
basic backstory of RWBY is, oh my
Who
god,
is the
they
RWBY?
open with it and I already forget like part of what the dust is or something. There's some like magic crystal shit magic, but there's like essentially negative energy like shadow monsters, like the Grim, that are just those like black and red fucking werewolf looking things. And so there are hunters that hunt them and try to rid the world of them. Yeah, so RWBY wants to be one of those hunters with her stepsister Yang. And if I remember, yeah, so it's that RWBY wants to go to the hunter school with her. She's, I think, too young technically to attend, but is getting in, I think, because of her mom, essentially, or her mother's legacy. So there's that. And that's kind of like where things kick off, is them like going towards like the school and city and getting wrapped up in a sort of crime gang thing as they're attending school with what are they called, like the animal-eared people, the White Fang, like, and I think there's a secondary organization. I don't remember what their name is, but anyway, a lot of shit like that. Now, where RWBY goes beyond that after season 3, when I stopped watching, God only knows. But it does go to, it gets to, so far, shitty fights and shitty designs. So that's what you can look forward to if you wanted to keep up with RWBY.
Does this Shaft version make things slightly more palatable? Is what I'll ask.
Oh, absolutely, 1,000,000%.
Absolutely.
This is the best RWBY has been since it ever came out.
Ever since
it is Shaft.
since
And
It is
it's
Shaft.
yeah, I
Shaft.
mean it's sad. It's sad that Monty isn't able to see something like this, right? And isn't able to see the height of the series. Granted, I think that the way RWBY went after with season 3 really onwards, it kind of was like just completely shitting on his legacy anyway, but you know, if he was alive that wouldn't have happened. But this is, I mean, not only does it make it more palatable, it gives more character sort of like interactions, it shows a little bit more. I want to say it does things in a slightly different order because it shows it also like took, because I don't remember if the train thing with like the train heist with Blake flashbacked with fucking Edge Boy Adam, who has fucking Jetstream Sam's katana, and I will never forget Monty trying to fucking say that it wasn't Jetstream Sam's katana because they were working on the series before Revengeance came out. And I was like, Monty, it's a fucking red katana with a gun sheath. Like, it's Jetstream Sam's katana.
There's
And
literally
that's okay,
no way.
because
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
really
it's cool.
fucking
It's
cool.
cool. Like, it's fine to be like, yeah, like this is
Yeah,
cool.
it's Jetstream
We
Sam's
took it.
katana. But yeah, so that's been cool.
How are the visuals? How does Huke's design elements fit into
So the
RWBYverse, whatever?
visuals are overall pretty good. There are some scenes that are like kind of hit or miss. I think the problem is that in my mind the entire time I can't detach RWBY season 1 from it. So anything is less ghetto than like Monty slaving away like fucking 100 hours a week by himself. So while also building the tech for it. So I think they're pretty good. Problem is I have a warped perspective. There are definitely some parts that are like kind of whack. There are some, I think the motion in the fight scenes is really solid, but sometimes during the fight scenes, the backgrounds just kind of like the environments kind of just decide to take a little bit of a break, take a breather, and leave. So, you know, like when RWBY fights these like 2 gang members in the fucking street it's like all of a sudden the street is extremely simple and like solid color at like one shot. So there are some pretty not great parts like that, but overall the motion has been pretty solid.
I mean, cuts like that,
Also,
you have to keep in mind they're all about the motion, right? When you're simplifying background elements in an action sequence, like it's purely to create fluid motion, right? Because obviously, like
because nothing gets
you're
muddled.
not out here like you're not out here drawing frames where the focus is the character flying through the air. You're not going to be drawing tiles on the floor. You know what I mean? And it can be jarring for sure, but like, majority of the cuts I've seen from this show are really quite nice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's translated very well. The pacing has been really good, even though they like, extended out what's been there. The fucking voice
Wait, sorry,
cast
second.
is
How many voice? Oh, sorry. What the hell am I saying? How many? How much content do they have to run compared to the number of episodes they have? Well, this is 12 episodes, right? I'm assuming.
this is going to
The
be 12
potential season
episodes, so I
2?
do not know what this is supposed to encompass either, right?
Okay.
I mean, I would imagine it goes into the other
It
seasons,
must
right?
be
Because
going into the other seasons.
because
Unless
like Dark
they're
said,
just ditching, unless they're starting with this and then ditching the rest, right?
Mhm.
Which would be
that's
weird.
that would be
That's
wild. That would be pretty wild
it's
for them to
my
just go into
dream,
completely.
but
I mean, I think that would be optimal for them to just create a completely original story beyond season 1, but I don't see that happening, right?
yeah.
And like Dark said,
Um,
season 1 of RWBY is
well,
like
they
20
have to
minutes
get into
long,
some of
so
season two because
they don't exactly have a lot to work with
I
there.
think season 2 is the one that introduced Penny, like the robot girl, and she's in the show.
Well, I mean, they can obviously introduce like season 2 and season 3
I also think
characters
that
within an original story.
I'm struggling to remember if season 1 ended or was like really close to ending by where they stopped with episode 3 as well.
Right.
Because they
I
stopped with
mean,
that like street fight and
yeah, I imagine the first
and
3 episodes are probably going to be like basically the first season because they pre-released the first 3 episodes, right? Like just in a batch. So
yeah, so that might have been the end of season 1 because I don't. Again, it's like super hard to remember what's season 1 and what's season 2 because the runtime of season 1 and 2 combined was like an hour, with season 1 being like 20 minutes long. So, like, again, like, remember when you were watching RWBY season 1 as it was releasing, you were watching 3 to 4 minutes of content a week. Like, so yeah, and now we're working with
you have
all
to
of that being extrapolated out to triple the runtime.
Well, it's like it's concentrated. It's like having it's like having crack cocaine. You know what I mean? It's like the concentrations. It's like you sometimes those 3 or 4 minutes are worth it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was because it was literally like here's Monty choreographing a fucking fight, which was always fun. But yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with the rest of it because, like I said, season 3, if they wind up getting to season 3 and through it, like they might do a better job, right? Because spoiler alert, Pyrrha fucking dies in season 3. The only problem is that the reason why Pyrrha fucking dies in season 3 isn't because Pyrrha was set up to die properly or had character like development and you would care. It was more like Pyrrha started getting character development. So let's just cut her down before we even do anything with her and just make it feel stupid. And that was because Miles and Kerry were watching fucking Game of Thrones at the time and liked Game of Thrones. That is literally one for one what happened. I don't think that, they didn't say that, but I think them not shutting the fuck up about Game of Thrones on every podcast they were on and being the
Potentially.
writers for it and those things starting to happen, you can kind of connect the dots.
There might have been a subconscious influence, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or a
So-
very conscious one.
Oh, very
Yeah,
conscious.
I think
Yeah,
it's
that could
I
have
don't
been.
think it's subconscious. I think it's very conscious, but they just won't say it. Especially because then when they wrote Red versus Blue, coincidentally, both shows had the exact same fucking tones because they can't write for fucking shit. So that's the other thing where it's like, even if they do get to season 3 here, I'm hoping they at least do it more justice with more character development and like more things like even happening and just making it make sense. But I mean, we'll see, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's a very nostalgic trip, and it's fun. The
When you
voice
when you
cast
were
is fucking godlike.
so this cast was available in well, have there been voice acting dubs of RWBY before this? I mean, I know of
I
BB Tag,
think
but before
during
BB Tag
the
there
later
was something.
seasons.
So the most I've seen myself
What's the
is
earliest one?
like CMs for the manga.
That
You know what I
was
mean?
that the earliest
Oh,
one?
I think you're right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
the
if
the
they've ever
earliest
actually
that
done.
the earliest that I believe they've ever dubbed over RWBY characters is for like commercials for the manga in Japan.
Okay.
That's
makes
the
sense.
earliest that I ever saw. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think RWBY ever got like an official like JP dub until like I don't even know if it
Until
has one,
this.
but
Right.
like like way later, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Which
until the
also
one before. Yeah, exactly. But it's also
for
they've kept with this series, or not series, this cast for like since the beginning, I think. Since
Yeah,
whatever
I think
year was
so.
mentioned.
I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, Shimamori Yu for fucking Blake, Hayami Sari for Ruby, Hikase Yoko for Weiss, Koshimizu Ami for
Koshimizu Ami
Yang.
for Yang is good.
Yeah,
I heard
Shimono
that shit.
Hiro for John.
Yeah.
Fuck, who was it for? Ozpin fucking Kazuhiko Inoue. Like,
Yeah. And Nora is
just
Suzuki Aya too.
it's just like you go down the cast and you're like, what? Like, where the fuck did you really for Ruby?
To be fair, at least for RWBY, I can almost sort of understand because there's like a weird like kind of niche following over there.
Oh yeah,
But it's
Adam is
like
fucking Nakamura. Like,
yeah.
incredible.
But it definitely is close to one of those series where it's like either not Dog Days. I think Dog Days was just like one of those series, but it's like the other one that sort of gave me this sort of like although again this wasn't as surprising because it's like again I think there was a sort of like a RWBY following in Japan before all this kind of came to a head, but it's like it the type of surprise, like the type of sort of gap between like, oh, this is like a RWBY project, and then like, oh, they just like hired all these people, I guess, is sort of like similar to one of those like I don't think you might know this, but Nier and Toast might, where it's like that one Toho OVA that was done by like a random person, but it's like literally the cast was just like A-lister,
all
A-lister, A-lister.
A-listers.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
boom, boom,
And
boom,
it's not like,
boom.
you know how Toho does, it's not like there's like 2 girls. It's not just like Reimu and Marisa. It has like 50 different girls. And they were like all voiced in that one OVA. And it's like, huh. I don't know where you got this money, but fucking it better. I hope you did it legally. I hope you got this money legally. So, yeah. Sometimes these things happen. It is
Yeah, and then
a
it's
thing.
like the staff too is like
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Mm.
And yeah, like the performances are good. If you listen to this in English, you should be fucking like shot on sight.
Bro,
Like
I need to listen to the
you're
dub to
fucking
understand
crazy.
emotions.
You're
I need to,
actually fucking crazy, dude. Like, look,
bro. I need
I don't want
to.
to shit on them that much, but like, let's be real. They've always been fucking bad. Like,
Bro, I don't want to listen
they
to the anime Japanese weeb voices. Okay, I want to
look
listen to my English
The
dub.
RWBY voice cast got better over time, surprisingly so. But comparatively, it's like fuck off. Like, come on, man. Like,
Right,
really? You're gonna be like, yeah, dude, I definitely want to listen to RWBY in English again now after
right.
hearing this. Like, absolutely.
uh, it's gonna be very interesting when you know a further extension of this happens, or you know a sort of a retrace happens. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways, any last words on the series?
Oh, listen, I still got a little bit more.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I
We gotta
thought
talk
you were.
about, I don't know if it's new music or not, but it definitely has Jeff Williams music in there. I couldn't tell, but if you like Red Like Roses, part 1 and 2, it's back.
Wait,
Yeah, like,
I want is Hayami Sari saying this is the big part. If she's
no,
the one saying,
it's,
oh fuck, we're so
no, but there
close.
is an ED. I didn't listen to the ED, I'm gonna be honest, because I wanted to get through more of it. But I have to go back and hear if it's like a fucking like Jeff Williams style song with like vocals by I'm sorry, because that would
Oh
be
fuck,
incredible. Like,
that'd be pretty good. If
I
Hayami
mean,
Sari did Red Like Roses like Japanese version, I think there would be
the
some people
OP
who
is in Jeff
would explode.
Williams, and it sounds like a fucking Jeff Williams song too. So I have to like look into that as well. But I'm pretty sure during the fights it's either not Jeff Williams, and they've managed to just perfectly recreate the beautiful fucking disaster that is a Jeff Williams song.
Could be remixed too.
Yeah, it could also be remixed, so there is that.
That's true.
But I'd have to really
Apparently, apparently
dig
the
more
ED
into
is sung by Hayami Sari, by the way.
No, it is, but I didn't listen to it, so it's like
Right.
if it's like a RWBY like Jeff Williams style song with lyrics with vocals by her, that would be insane.
But
Um,
they'll also like that'll also create another sort of not a big hullabaloo, but like a medium-sized hullabaloo on the internet every time like this shit gets brought up because once that happens, it's like people will be making comparisons between like the English singing and like Jaime Sari singing
yeah,
it,
and
and then it's
those
gonna like
people
come
should
down
be
to
thrown off of a fucking building.
I just
Like,
listened to
look,
it. It is not a Jeff Williams song.
okay,
Yeah, gotcha.
that's honestly a shame. Um, but yeah, so just like again, the cast being what it is, like what is it? The fucking like script writer is the fucking psychopath script and series composition guy.
Wait, really?
Bardock Scramble,
Yeah.
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 Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's
I
so
mean,
good. What the fuck is
the
going
talent
on?
here is pretty wild. So
Yeah, it's insane.
As I said, RWBY did have a following, so it's not like just coming over here. It's like, oh, we're just gonna scrape up some fucking people from like AIC or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
it's
but
actually
it's
got like
like
money.
but it's like knowing what it came from is like
Yeah, it's funny.
it
Yeah,
is crazy like
yeah,
to
exactly.
see this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty
and
good.
again, like it is sad that Monty didn't get to see like this
The
level
compilation.
of shit
Right.
for a series that he literally came up with from a fever dream. So it is fun to see. It's a really fun trip down like memory lane essentially, while it
Right.
also improving on parts, which is nice.
Right.
And again, like RWBY, like I think RWBY's story is fucking whack. But I question now with someone else like doing the composition and the directing and everything and at the wheel to like fill in gaps, will it wind up coming out on the other end being like, you know, the story has like a lot of shit going on and it's like kind of whack, like kind of crazy, but it's not like shitty, you know, like it's not handled
It's like
poorly this time.
it's like one of those videos on like those Japanese worker videos on like for those Japanese channels where they do like restoration of like either like some like wet manga or like some ruined like manga book or like some rusty axe or something like that. Except
Yeah.
like except
It's the script for RWBY,
yeah, exactly.
where
You
it's
kind of
them running the original through a fucking shredder.
yeah,
And then
exactly.
just writing a new one.
It's the
But
shiny
yeah,
axe now.
because it's like I think about it and I'm like, yeah, like RWBY's story's whack. Like Ozpin fucking dies or something and then like resurrects in the body of like a fucking like brown boy. And I'm like, that's weird. But it's like when I think about it though, is it that much stranger than like any plot line in Raildex at this point? Or like
Yeah, I mean, very true.
there are like so many plot lines in anime where it's just like, yeah, it's like handled fine. So, you know,
To
kind of
be
get
fair,
through it.
Dark. To be fair, Dark. There's been multiple instances of a guy dying and then being reincarnated as a brown boy.
Yeah, it was kind of weird that happens like in between season 3 and 4 though. Like
Have you heard the
kind of
story
expect
of
that to happen in the beginning of a series.
Have you heard the story of Majin Buu? How he became Oob?
Wait, what?
What? You don't remember?
You
You don't
don't
remember?
remember Oob?
Yeah, you don't remember Oob?
No, I don't. I don't remember.
Oh,
Ooh.
fuck! I
Yikes,
forgot
bro,
about
yikes,
Oob.
bro.
Fuck! No, don't.
These guys forgot about Oob.
Oh my god, no.
I
Now
forgot. I
remember
forgot.
Oob.
Fuck. You're right. Like the moment you mentioned that name, I was like, oh
shit,
fuck, you're
dude.
right.
That's where they got
Remember,
it from.
I guess. Remember, he was pink. You know, pink like what happens when when your face gets flushed, and then he became brown and reincarnated as a good person. Get it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop here.
Yeah. Anyways,
Either way. What the fuck? Well,
But yeah, what was I gonna say?
jeez.
What would you rate it on the scale of anime dubbing English or Western anime?
What do
Is
you
it on the
mean?
level of King of the Hill and SpongeBob, or is it?
I mean, this isn't Western no more, which makes it better.
It's glorious. All hail glorious Nippon
Glorious
now.
Nippon.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's just like it's cool. It's cool to see part one, like or what is it, volume 1 or whatever. And I guess like whatever else they cover in a, reasonable thing. I mean, me and Nier, like I was showing Nier the new designs today too for like the car and Ruby, and one, I think the designs in general are just ass from just a design standpoint. But it also doesn't help that quality wise, they just don't look good. So, I mean, this would also help, but they're not about to get to fucking volume 8 in 12 episodes. So, there is that. But yeah,
All right.
I don't know. If you're a fan of RWBY, check it out because it's better than what you've been watching. So,
What if I'm not a fan of RWBY?
if you're not a fan of RWBY, then don't become one. For one. But two, I would say check it out anyway because I think it's good.
I think it's
And
also
I
a
think that
bright.
if you're not a fan of RWBY and you check this out and you're like, I'm a bit of a fan of RWBY. Maybe I should watch the rest of it. Don't do that.
So, I like
not
it
do that.
immediately. Like nope. I think it's. I
Don't.
think this is a.
You can wait.
I,
You can wait and see. Maybe they'll do a second one and a third one. Maybe they'll catch up. Maybe they'll catch up and Rooster Teeth will fucking shut down. Who knows?
Says
Fingers
the chat.
crossed.
Unfortunately, for every 30 seconds of Sakuga, there's 19 more minutes of RWBY. God
Yeah.
damn it! But yeah, I mean, the
I don't
thing
know.
is,
I mean, again,
do.
like I think it works with what they've done and how they've changed everything, and also not having again the original RWBY voice acting certainly doesn't hurt.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like I don't
I
really
mean,
think the world building and stuff. Oh, the other thing that's going to be kind of fucking whack is going to be the tournament arc in I think season 3 if they get to that.
okay.
There are a lot of characters that that Miles and Carrie just shit out for no reason. Like
Just
it
a
was
lot of holes,
literally
right?
well, I mean it was literally like the worst example of a shonen like tournament arc where
Oh,
they
great.
just start introducing characters that are like you guys literally had a 15 like you guys had like a fucking brainstorming like day in the office and you were like, I don't know, this person fucking plays a fucking trumpet and skates around on fucking roller skates and makes rainbows. I don't know, this fucking character is Nyan Cat, but they're a fucking character. This fucking like this person has like guns that shoot out of their fucking eyeballs. Like it's like okay. Like listen guys, you didn't need to make 18 different fucking weapons like overnight.
What I
But
do
you know,
think though is
we'll see.
that this RWBY anime as is part of this continuing series along with I want to say, I mean there are obviously series before this, but like with I think the most notable one before this recently was Star Wars Visions, right? Where it's like they're giving these proof of concepts that kind of show like we can take a Western series or a Western idea and really put a decent layer of gloss on it at the very least, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's very important in not to be, over here sucking Japanese dick over here, but I think being able to show that we can add a layer of gloss and generally improve upon a series without like just stomping on random plot aspect or doing something is very important in a world where right now every time somebody's like, okay, we're going to take this original and then we're going to make a foreign adaptation of it, or we're going to make this sort of adaptation of it. Everybody just like puts their head in their hands and they just like groan. You know what I mean? Like they're just like,
Yeah.
oh, please don't fucking make that like foreign adaptation. Oh, please don't make that. Like, just don't stop making that spin-off. Don't make a Western version of whatever this is. Don't make a Japanese version of whatever. Like in a world
Yeah,
where we're
where
always like
meanwhile I'm out here, I'm
afraid
like,
of
please make the foreign adaptation of RWBY so that it could be good, and I can feel even a modicum of less bad that I have like the fucking 3-0 RWBY statue. Like,
yeah.
please.
Please, I need vindication in my life.
Yeah, it's like, please, dude, I bought it like halfway through season 2. Like,
You can't
I
do this to
didn't
me. Yeah,
know,
exactly.
dude.
But yeah, I think it's very important that we have this proof of concept that, not every time somebody tries to make a foreign adaptation of something, it's gonna be shit. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
have to
But
be afraid of it.
I think it's also like, you
Yeah.
have to question like what
Say that
value
after
you bring into
the
it as
new live
well.
action Death Note, dude.
Well, I said not every, but not every can also mean 99% of
Yeah,
stuff.
and I mean, I think it's more of a matter of like, you have to ask yourself like, what is this doing for the series, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What is it adding? Where it's like for
Absolutely.
RWBY right here is extremely obvious, which, what more so for this is like, what isn't it adding, right? Like, you're talking about you're adding more content for like character development. You're turning it into a more full something that was like super truncated into a fuller like story, and then also you're giving it audio visuals that aren't made by one guy, like you know, just fucking staying up for 30 hours straight, like. But yeah, which was another thing. Another more RWBY Monty lore, by the way, which in hindsight might have been part of his problem, but that when I think it was when he was doing RWBY season 1, he was on a what do you call it, like 32? It was like a 32-16 like sleep cycle where he'd be up for 32 hours straight and sleep for 16 hours.
It's healthy, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, so, like, this type of project can add a lot to this. So,
Anyways, thank you very much, Dark, for helping cover RWBY Ice Queendom, I believe is the name, right?
yeah.
Okay, so it is oh, it is not an adaptation. What the hell am I saying? It is I guess, an HD or I said HD remake. What the fuck? I'm getting like too confused with video game
It's
terminology.
not
But
really wrong.
yeah, I feel kind of bad, but it is sort of a higher quality remake of the series by Shaft Studios. Obviously, they're pretty much going over the exact same plot. So again, remake in that sense. So if you are a RWBY fan and you want to check it out, please do so.
Yeah, and don't listen to the fucking mall reviews that are all saying, if you haven't seen the original, please go watch the original first. Don't. You don't need to.
You don't
You
need
do not
to.
need to do that, dude. Again, the
Dude.
original, like, look, I loved Monty's work and everything, but the original is like fucking going on what? 8 years old now or something like that or more. Again,
10
being
years
made
old.
by one guy who is also trying to put together the sort of like workflow in Maya to produce the show.
Yeah.
So
If I'm being honest, even when
wasn't
RWBY
very
even
good.
when RWBY came out, it didn't look too hot. Like
No, it looked like it was being made by one guy.
yeah, like
I mean,
It wasn't a looker when it started.
going from Dead Fantasy and the other thing, it looks a lot better.
Well, yeah, I mean that was the thing. It was like, again, it was like it was like a dream project by one guy who honestly excelled more at choreography than he did at animation, and then he was self-teaching him. Like he was self-teaching 3D animation, so can't really I don't know, can't really fault it, but again,
So what has better
there is
3D choreography?
there is literally no value in watching the original first.
So what has better 3D choreography, this or X Arms?
I mean, RWBY in general like was better and looked better than X Arms. So even when it
Yeah,
came
that
out,
is we don't talk about that series.
X Arms is like quite literally like worse than RWBY Volume 1.
Anyways,
Yeah,
we do have to
so
move on.
very
But
impressive stuff.
yeah. Thank you very much, Dark, for helping to cover RWBY Ice Queendom. And now we're gonna move over quickly to the news. Not much news today or these past 2 weeks, except for some like company news kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna go over it real quick. First off, the British government has published a response to evidence collected by the Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport, or DCMS, on the subject of loot boxes in video games. Published on Sunday, the press release is headed, quote unquote, companies must do more to ensure safe and responsible gaming and take action on, quote unquote, loot boxes to protect young people. It announces that a working group will be convened to this end, including games companies, platforms, and regulatory bodies. So, it's like the rest of this stuff is like, oh, we want to keep children safe, blah, blah. And, at least in my perspective, it's going to be, there are like several problems associated. Like, the thing is, I want more loot box regulations, but the way that this is kind of developing is like first, like a lot of the hullabaloo and like the action is pretty much just over in the EU, which kind of sucks because like
You say
the mo-
that, but I feel like it being in the EU is honestly the best approach we could have
you mean
because,
because it's out of the hands of like Japan slash China is what
well,
you're
it's
It's
saying.
out
out
of
of
the
the
hand,
hands
it's
of
out
the
of the hands of
United
the U.S.
States.
government. Like
That too,
that's the
yeah.
problem. Like the optimal route is that the EU locks it down so that the US doesn't need to do anything, and then
It
games
just
companies
follows.
are like, if we need to
Yeah.
release something in the West, we literally can't do like loot boxes, or we have to like completely change the way we do gachas because we
Yeah, I
literally
mean,
can't do it anywhere other than the United States, right? 'Cause the
yeah,
problem
I
is
mean,
if
I
if the
also think
U.S. government does it, it's going to be like, actually, you not only can't have like gotchas or loot boxes or anything, but also when you buy a game, it can't have women in it.
right, exactly.
And it's like, oh, like like that's the type of shit that like gets proposed, like just complete overreaching.
Also, um, the second problem I kind of see with this is also that all these kind of regulations, as far as I can tell, will probably be geared towards like will probably be structured variants of you need to have warning signs for the children, right? So it'll be like I think they'll do this weird thing where they'll rely on this lever that is you need to have stricter and stricter ways of checking which players in your player base are children or people that are too young to be, gambling the shit away, right? And you need to crack down on them. Or you need to be able to kind of flush them out of your player base, right? And not only is that obviously not going to work, right? Um, but it's not really solving the core issue, which is, I mean, like the children stuff is obviously the main the forefront issue. But the general idea is that I don't want to be fucking gambling $900 out of any person's allowance, even a fucking middle-aged man's allowance, so I can get a fucking JPEG on my screen. Like I don't want to do that. Like, and it's one thing if you tell me like, hey, if you just pay me fucking $900, you can get this. But it's like, don't let's not do this whole like 3% SSR, and then there's this other pool, and then you might end up getting this fucking craft essence, and then you have to get the support cards. And I think the
Spire,
bigger yes,
what if you could own that gotcha character?
You
that is true.
you also have to keep
It
in
is your
mind,
girl.
I think the fact that this is EU stuff,
Mhm.
it's probably a little bit more focused on like FIFA than it is
Yeah.
Yeah.
necessarily gacha games.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
obviously, like
I mean,
it's a
that's
blanket thing,
part of
right?
well, that's part of why I thought initially it was a problem that it was in the EU, right? Because it's like the idea is that the EU doesn't really have as much like stuff happening in the EU doesn't really have as much sway over the majority of the gacha games that are uh at least in my opinion are causing problems like stuff like all the gotcha games and like mobile games and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that pans out. But I think what people will do is I think what government regulators will try to aim to do is they'll try to just crack down more and more and more on the whole like, oh, you got to make sure that children are not playing your game or something like that, or
Well,
they'll
hey,
try to aim because
our savior, Diablo Immortal, might change that. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
we might
But
not see gotcha game stuff like that now, but Diablo Immortal
mm,
is really pushing the envelope, so that might raise a few eyebrows.
yeah,
Be like,
but
wait a minute.
I think I don't think they'll mainly push on that lever, but I have no I don't know about the I mean obviously again there's stuff like Diablo Immortal, but I don't know about the possibility of government regulators specifically pushing for gotcha games to have less
Well, yeah,
fucking
I mean, I think
shitty
it'll just be a
systems.
blanket thing of that you literally can't ask someone to pay for something that they don't know what they're going to get.
Yeah, it'll either be a blanket ban or it'll be a ban for children or nothing.
Yeah.
Essentially, I think.
I mean, so the reason why I'm optimistic with like this sort of stuff, especially it not touching the US, is the impact that we've at least seen now with Overwatch. Overwatch 2 isn't going to have loot boxes literally because they're banned in what is it, like New Zealand and Denmark or whatever?
Oh
And
yes,
like
yes,
they
yes,
and
yes.
and like they're just not going to make another SKU for that for EU to like
Right.
have them running off of that. So what that's done now is that it's like we don't have to have overstepping with like the fucking US, but we do still get the benefit of those loot boxes are gone for us too. I think I don't know, and I think also the EU, I think the EU banning stuff in a lot of cases will just hit the US just because like how many SKUs of a game are you going to make, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
I think that'll be a huge benefit to like global releases of things and everything.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the potential sort of pressures mounting from EU. I think that'll also help things along, but we'll just have to see how.
And I mean, listen, the kids stuff definitely is a good start too, because I mean, FIFA, they might want to take the bullet, but really, like, do they want to have FIFA games be rated M, 18 plus?
That's the big thing. Once those sorts of regulations where it's like whole swaths of the player base are like starting to be driven away by the regulations, that's when we're really gonna see like the sparks fly. That's gonna be the big thing. Because that's gonna be the first type of regulations, like being like, no, people shouldn't play these games. Like the
Yeah,
government
it's like
just coming out and be like,
you have to put 18
yeah,
plus on the box. You have to
yeah, yeah,
put like not
exactly.
even just
That's
M.
gonna be the
Like,
beginning of the fight.
yeah,
That's
you
gonna
have to
be the
put
beginning.
18 plus, and you have to put like even if it's like weird phrasing like gambling, not anecdote, like what would you call it, like analog or whatever, in like the fucking reasons why it's rated M. Like, yeah, there's shit in this game that's like analogous to gambling.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. Yeah, Session's like, well, I mean, Session says it doesn't matter. The
I
kid
think
has
it
an
does.
adult account and is buying the game digitally with a gift card. I mean, that is true, but the companies are still gonna go resist kicking and screaming for every
Yeah, I
like
mean they're gonna
little
shit
bit of
themselves. Like there's a reason.
yeah,
Again, there's a reason why like a lot of shooters and shit are like very much try to push for rated T for teen.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually big. Like it's huge.
They're
What you
trying to
see.
scrape every percentage of whatever they can catch. So it is.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But anyways, next piece of news here. Bandai Namco Holdings revealed that an unspecified party hacked the company on July 3rd, getting like what's with all these like recent like Japanese sites fucking getting hacked and shit? It's like Sony, Bandai Namco. Come on, guys. Like, all right. Well, unspecified party hacked the company on July 3rd, gaining unauthorized access to internal systems to multiple groups in Asia outside Japan. The company acknowledged that it is possible that customer information related to toy and hobby businesses in that region may have been leaked. But yeah. So, Bandai Namco is investigating the attack. The company added that the hack will not have a significant impact on business. I don't think the business is what you're worrying about, really. I
Yeah,
don't
you're
think
kind of
it's
worrying
the
about the fact that everyone's information's out there, but okay.
yeah. I like how we're making anime about or Japanese studios are making anime about like wow futuristic Japan, and Japan has all of these things, and like outside of real life, fucking every other month, Japanese company is getting hacked. Shit, god damn it. All
Yeah,
right.
all these companies that store all their passwords in like plain text.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
exactly.
the true cutting
Uh,
edge. And hey, man, a little bit of karma for trying to sue the internet. All right.
that's yeah, and trying to hire people to manually search through the internet one by one. Just, but yeah. Last piece of news: the Pokemon Company International announced on Monday that it's developing a new unscripted series involving the Pokemon trading card game (TCG). The company opened a casting call for applicants of all ages and their families. Casting will focus on fans in the Los Angeles, California area. Candidates can apply by visiting the casting agency website. So it says on the advertisement here. Now casting. The Pokemon Company International is currently searching for energetic, personable candidates of all ages and their families for an exciting new opportunity. I just want to say, like, just an aside, but
What is
like
this
people who
for?
are
Pokemon
for an unscripted,
TCG like show?
it's probably some sort of like semi-reality show kind of thing involving the trading card
Yeah,
game, my
that's
guess.
what.
I'm just
I
gonna
can't wait
say,
to
like,
see
as
that all the people applying for this are like 40 fucking years old, and then like
yeah,
no
and
one can
also
say
like
that Pokemon is for kids anymore.
I just want to say, except for like maybe like the one or two very rare exceptions, if you're the type of person who's gonna apply to a Pokemon trading card reality show, I don't know how energetic and personable you are going to be on TV and like make it on as a mainstream personality. I don't know. Like man, I don't know if you're that type of person here. But anyways, whether you're trying to learn the Pokemon trading card game to connect with your loved ones, hold your TCG. What? Hold your TCG skills to get to the next level, or a
Yeah,
competitive player. We would
of
like to hear
course,
how
man. It's like family game
Pokemon
night.
TCG.
Pokemon TCG.
Wait, okay, can I repeat this sentence? Whether you're trying to learn the Pokemon trading card game to connect with your loved ones, is this like this isn't like
It's like a
this is a
PSA for
like
like parents trying to like
like a therapy session? Like
reconnect
what
with
are we
their
talking about here?
kids. Like I just don't understand. Which also another thing is just like, hey man, listen, if you're a parent with young kids, learning the Pokemon TCG is not going to help you connect with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just learn how to play
Oh
Fortnite.
my god. Yeah, exactly.
Because
Well,
again,
we'll
can't wait to see how many like 40-year-olds apply for this.
yeah. Well, we'll wait with bated breath for what happens with this.
I hope Logan Paul
Uh,
hosts it with his framed Charizard.
both of the Pauls, both of the Pauls.
Hey,
Kinda
Logan Paul's
that'd
gonna
be
be
kind of
missed.
mage
And then
now.
they challenge a 12-year-old to a boxing match at the end.
It's gonna be Mr. Beast with special guest Logan Paul.
Yeah.
No, both of the Pauls
I don't think Mr.
challenge
Beast is
the
allowed
kids.
near children, so
Both of them challenge kids to go into that one Japanese forest of death or whatever, and then they just like start playing Pokemon Go in there. So that's like the fucking
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, they
God
go in
damn it.
there, and then again, if they lose a match, one of the Pauls loses a match to a 12-year-old, challenges them to a boxing match.
Yeah, and then the boxing match. Oh boy. Anyways, that was pretty much all the news we have for today, and we're gonna go straight into our last section, our shoutouts and callouts. So everybody here gets one shout out and one call out each. Shout out can be any one person, place, or thing that you want to shout out you want to praise, give 5 out of 5 stars, and call out is the exact opposite. Something that you want to rage, rant about, something that you want to spit on the grave of, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. And we are starting off with Dark. Let's just run through this pretty briefly here.
Shit. I guess shout out to Multiverses. That game is super fun. Really didn't think I was gonna like it the way as much as I do. So yeah, that's been cool. I think my call out probably have to be to what am I gonna call out? I'm gonna call out I'm gonna call out like MMO players.
Hey, that's me.
No. I mean not really in general, but it's just like with the shit that's been going on, I'm not gonna really like super get into it, but there's been a lot of shit going on between like Preach starting to play WoW again, to try out the alpha, and a lot of people basically freaking out. A lot of very like pissy people in the FF14 community, which makes it seem very much like almost like stupidly they feel threatened or something, where it's like, oh, he's playing WoW again. Like he's gonna leave us. He's gonna leave us. He's only gonna play WoW again now. WoW sucks though, doesn't it? It's like, bro, like relax. Like your game is in a fine spot. I think it's going to be okay. But so there's been a lot of that, and it's just been a lot of people basically proving that they want a grifter. Like they say they want authenticity from like YouTubers and shit, but literally they just want a grifter. Like they want someone right now. They want Preach to be like, wow, bad, FF14 good. And then if FF14 fucked around and did some bad shit, it would be, no, now you have to say FF14 bad.
They
So,
just want
you know.
a sort of beat stick, like a public beat stick, essentially, but in the form of like bully pulpit, kind of. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. It's like they again. I think it's they literally want a grifter. Like they say they want someone is going to talk like honestly about like WoW in a game, right? Like it was that way when it was like, oh, WoW's fucking everyone around. Like we want someone who's going to talk honestly about that. And then it's like when WoW, like with meaningful like releases and change, seems to not be doing that. You know, the new expansion's not out yet, so we'll wait and see with that. But as of right now, we can literally say it's not happening. So, but they don't want someone to say that. They want someone to still say, no, WoW's bad, Blizzard bad, WoW bad, Blizzard evil.
Right, exactly.
I mean, you see it in comments still right now. Like I saw a comment the other day that was like, people even in like Guild Wars 2, like the subreddit, people were like upset that WoW is basically applying their version of like flying mounts to the game. And people are like, but is Blizzard going to respect women the way ArenaNet does? And it's like, dude, I wish I could fucking like punch you through your fucking monitor and through your fucking face. Like, shut up, you fat fucking nerd. Like, we both know you don't give a shit about any of this. You're literally like, you're bringing this up because you're mad that one game company took a mechanic from your game. So, like, I really don't think you're being genuine when you say these things. Like,
Right.
call me fucking crazy, but I don't think you care about the state of women in a game in a game company. Also, we don't really know how women are treated at ArenaNet, so there's that too. We didn't think women were treated this badly at Blizzard until it came out. So, who knows?
Yeah. Anyways, shout out.
I did my shout out already. Shout out
Oh,
Multiverse.
sorry. Yeah, you did. Okay, so Nier, shout out call, please.
I'm gonna call out. I think I'm gonna call out an absolute classic. Call it to the Switch.
Oh, yeah, that is definitely a classic.
It's kind of a fucking dog shit piece of hardware. So Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I believe is launching like on the 29th or some shit. And it leaked, as most Switch games do. People are sort of like, playing it on emulators and stuff, right? And it does the thing that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did, where it has an adaptive resolution system, right? Where, when the hardware can't really deal with the game, like the effects and shit that are happening in the game, in order to keep 30 frames per second, by the way, 30 frames per second, it will lower the
As you
resolution.
do.
And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 regularly went down to like 480p
What the
in combat. It was illegible. Like it was hideous. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, on the other hand, on emulators, is dropping down to a pretty consistent 240p to hit
great.
30 frames per second.
But dude, that's just on an emulator. It's not even on the proper hardware.
Yeah, except people have been testing it on the proper hardware with cracked switches, and it still does that.
But
Very
one
cool.
It
about the
also
big one
has
touch.
it also has a really hardcore memory leak, which Xenoblade Chronicles 2 also had, which is pretty cool. I forget what other Switch game oh yeah, Bayonetta 3 also had a showing recently. A fairly lengthy gameplay trailer. And it looks like fucking dog shit. God damn, bro. It is fucking ugly as hell, dude.
We knew that from the first trailer.
I mean, yeah,
Let's
but
be
like
real. People
there's
really didn't pause to like really look at the game, and it was
yeah,
like,
like there's
wait
a
a
lot
minute,
more
all of
in
these
this new
environments
trailer
look like shit.
where all of the environments are completely empty. They're gray as fuck. The game is just ugly, bro. I don't know what to say. No, I'm not even gonna comment on the absolutely dog shit designs that are in that Bayonetta 3 trailer, because holy fuck, they're bad. But just like
People
graphically,
praised those too.
yeah, I
They're
don't know about that
they're really
one.
good, dude.
But yeah, I really like Jean wearing fucking like a fruit roll up. Like, what is she wearing, dude? It's so fucking ugly. But like, yeah, fuck the Switch. I hate the Switch. I really hope Nintendo releases some better hardware soon. Because games are really suffering, like legitimately, actually suffering by being on the Switch, in a graphical capacity, for sure. Like, it's really frustrating to see, because like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, art style wise, is a really good looking game. Like it looks good in the trailers, um, but it doesn't on the hardware. So, you know, it just
Yeah, I mean,
sucks.
I think we've seen enough. I think we've seen enough examples at this point that, like, yeah, you might be able to put out something pretty okay, passable with like Zelda and like Splatoon and Mario and like Kirby. But like when you're moving on to even Zelda starting to look pretty bad texture wise, and like every third party game looking like shit.
I mean,
I think we
with
can
with
tell what the problem is.
Zelda, it's like you have to keep in mind that Breath of the Wild was also on the Wii U. Um,
Yeah, I don't think the showings of like
so
the new Breath of the Wild were much better as far
well,
as
we
textures
we
go.
haven't we haven't really seen the new Breath of the Wild in like 3 years. So
Yeah, I
there's
think
that.
that's a pretty bad sign too, throwing
Yeah, I
that
mean
out
that's not a good sign. But like and the only other Zelda content that Switch has gotten is like the Warriors games, which uh, I
Also,
think.
run that.
Yeah, they run pretty bad, but I mean that's like you could excuse that to be like, Omega Force isn't familiar with the Switch's hardware, but that's also
Well,
not
that's what I mean. It's
that's
like
also a failing
at
of
this
the
point, I
hardware.
think we're looking at the fact that it's just really hard to get a grasp on it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, as for my shoutouts, this might sound kind of weird, but I'm gonna shout out the absolutely insane psychopath that wrote that New York Times article that was like, maybe we should give cannibalism a chance, because
Oh,
that's awesome. That's really cool. I think that's pretty badass. I think if you have the absolute like insane mentality of not only writing that out, but like pushing it to an editor and getting it published, it's like, props to you, right? Like you're insane, right? You're crazy. But I think that's cool that
Shoot your shot, you know.
yeah, I think it's cool that you wanted to get your opinion out there, that maybe eating people, maybe it's time for that. Maybe it's time to just
There's a time and place for that.
yeah,
so,
maybe
sometimes
it's
you have to get
just
your voice out. That's what social media is all about. You know what I mean?
listen, like a loaf of bread is pretty expensive these days. So I think I
That wasn't
think you
even the
should.
argument. I don't think.
No,
It wasn't
I
the argument
I
was
don't think
there's
it
a food
was.
shortage. It's
Yeah,
the food shortage in
yeah,
America,
yeah,
of which I'm not aware of. But
yeah. I mean, America famously known for having a shortage of food and not an overabundance and wasting food.
Hey
But
man,
yeah,
all of those landfills with fresh groceries, that's that's imaginary. That's like moon landing stuff here.
yeah. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
there's time and a place for everything, and I think now, right now, um, is the time to
This second.
just
Yeah.
start eating people.
Start the purge.
I think
now I
that's
didn't get access to that article, but I really got to see the content of it because it's like, what do you mean?
yeah. I mean,
How do you reasonably eat someone? Like, I really want to know what their methodology is because it's
Just
like you
reasonably
can't
bite into
wait
their
until
arm.
they're like they're old and die of natural causes. Like,
listen, man, you just start a human farm, right?
Yeah.
Like you just
You know those Minecraft like farms where they have like the cows like constantly like spitting out items or whatever because they're like
yeah,
on those rotating like things. It's like that's what you do, but with humans.
yeah, with human meat, you know. I think that's
never mind the fact that we can like grow meat in labs now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Anyways.
Nier, would you eat the Pope?
Holy shit! Start the human Wagyu program, dude. That sounds like a fucking like Doctor Doom kind of.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Nier, is the
Start the
Pope
human
still in
Wagyu program.
Canada?
Jesus.
No, I don't know. I don't track the Pope.
I heard
Like
he's in Canada. Would you eat the Pope?
probably not, dude.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
like way too old and stringy.
that's
But
what I mean.
anyways,
Like, how are you gonna do that?
thank you very much, Near, for your shout out call out. Toast, shout out call out, please.
What? I'm gonna. You know what? You know what? You know what I'm gonna shout out, Spire.
Ooh.
I'm gonna shout out. What's it called?
Yeah?
I'm gonna shout out New Underworld Order. NWO.
Wouldn't
Okay.
that be NUO?
Yes.
Yeah.
No you.
What?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
not quite. NUO, but
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out New Underworld Order.
All
what's
right.
New Underworld Order?
For those who don't know, that's Mori Calliope's concert.
Okay.
All right.
Fuck me.
She sang 24 songs, a majority of which were live. Obviously.
That really is the fucking underworld.
Yeah. That's a
You mean
insanely
it sends people to the underworld? Is what you
That's a
mean?
pretty
No,
that's a
that's
pretty
hell. That is hell.
that's a
You're
pretty,
already in the underworld.
That's over 2 hours of
it's a pretty long
Mori
concert.
Calliope. Yeah, that's
yeah,
a long
it's
song.
a very long concert.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to go to
Exactly.
that for someone I do like.
Yeah. Like
But Dark, didn't you know at the end when she revealed her new outfit, her last 3 songs, she allowed people in the live audience to clip and share it on social media. Whoa,
Wait, you
man.
couldn't share it before that moment?
Can't share
no.
VODs from a
Yeah,
big concert
because it's
spot.
Nah, she
because
took
you'd have
everyone's
to like
phones and put them in those foam sealed cases because she
yeah.
was gonna say a lot
Yeah,
of
so
racist stuff. So
Okay. I see.
oh yeah, no, but yeah, about the concert, it was all right. Good effects. I mean, I would have picked, or the collab songs were there. I would have picked Wicked over Capsule, but Capsule's the more Calliope song, and Wicked's the Suisse song. So what can you do? I mean, it was all right. She got better at singing, I guess, and
Okay.
I mean, we're always gonna say this, but regardless of whether or not you like or hate more Calliope's music, you can never make fun of her work ethic. She works hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
Well,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, again,
even
like
if the
I don't
discussion,
fault her for doing what she's doing.
I don't think any of the discussions that we've at least had privately, is really focused on like. I mean, like we've been like, you know, her music is pretty whatever, but I don't think the discussion has ever been like more Calliope should never like publish anything and she should just go like that. Like that's not really what the idea of the discussion was. The discussion was the fact that like not
But
just
yeah,
limited to Mori Calliope fans, but
Yeah.
VTuber fans in general will kind of just, you know, whatever poop is out there on that street, they will pick it up and eat it. And you know,
there's.
sometimes
I
Well,
mean,
I mean, it
I'm
was
it's not
not.
like
very
it was like
good.
I was saying to Nier. It was like you have like, hey, what's your favorite music? Like,
Oh
what's a
boy.
genre of music do you like?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And Nier's response, I think, was punk, and I was like, yeah, but dude, like, have you heard of Mori Calliope? Or no, I was like, or no,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, I
imagine
mean
me
it.
then saying like, have you heard of Periphery? It's like that's Gent. Like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, exactly. Ah, Jesus.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like I don't. It's again, I think there's a difference between like an artist who's like a Mori, where I don't like her fans and I don't like her music, and like I think her music is shit. But I'm not like I dislike this person the way I say that about an artist like Machine
You
Gun
respect the
Kelly.
hustle. You respect the
Because like
hustle.
yeah, and then there's artists like Machine Gun Kelly where I'm like I don't respect your hustle and I think you're a fucking asshole. Like
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
just trying to gain notoriety through like, starting fucking drama. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
you know,
concert wise, I mean, she's got UMJ money, so I mean, I'm gonna have to rate it probably best 3 solo concerts. I mean, yeah, there's no, it's slim pickings though. You got what? Suisei, Azuki, Kelly, Watame, Sora, about it. Or I guess Aqua, but I don't watch Aqua's concerts.
What? For what?
Solo concerts. I'm ranking the solo concerts
Oh, I mean, Kanatan hasn't had one yet, has she?
on this level. No,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean, you got a big budget, lots of flashing lights, and a live DJ there. So I mean, I hope. I'll,
Anyways, what do you broke your call out?
what's the collab between Suisei and Inu Inutaka? Inutaka? What's it called?
I don't know. You're the Suisei watcher here.
Damn, whatever. I hope Suisei's concert next month is just as good. I mean, it's probably going to be. There's no doubt about it. But I hope they got good money because they said that the bill for that concert was pretty high, and the tickets are dirt cheap. So buy those tickets if you can. But yeah, good concert. I I hope she keeps up her music career. She doesn't do anything stupid because she's signed to a major label now.
I mean, she's gonna
Kelly and
do something
not
stupid,
doing stupid
but
things do
it's
not
just not.
mix well.
It's
I'm
just not
afraid.
gonna be bad.
I
Like,
just hope it doesn't tank her career because she worked hard.
Nah, I don't. I
no,
think.
I don't see that
I think
happening.
she's.
Yeah.
I think she's not very smart, but I think she's smart enough to avoid. I think she's smart enough to avoid like career ruining,
Yeah, like
like scandals.
Yeah,
Like
most people at the very, very top are they didn't get there by being retarded socially. Let's just say
yeah.
that. So,
Midnight Grand Orchestra, that's the one I'm thinking of.
right.
anyways,
Yeah, and
call out please.
Yeah,
also if there's anyone who's gonna come out and like show support with money, I would hope it'd be a fucking Cali fan. So
Yeah. Or a girl
I
fan.
mean, again, it's like if if we're gonna have the actual meme be reality of like, but have you heard of Maury Calliope? Like, all right,
You'd
fucking
hope
cough
people like
up,
that are
bud.
supporting her fucking monetarily.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Call out please.
I call out. I don't know. What's it called? Splenectomies? Splenectomies.
The hell is that? For your spleen?
It's a spleen removal.
Oh. Sounds fun.
It's not.
Alright.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just round up my shout out call out. But shout out to whoever the hell scrounged over in I believe it's Square Enix who has the rights to Amagami. I think it's Square Enix / Enterbrain. I forget. It's one of the two. But shout outs to whoever over there had the great idea of making more Amagami content because I want more Amagami content. I am a degenerate. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say I'm degenerate. I think Amagami Love plus like Tokimemo is just like a mecca. Like you just have to do it. Or Toheart, Tokimemo, not Toheart, Tokimemo, Love plus Amagami. Those three, you have to take the mecca. It is the journey you have to take. But shout outs to whoever thought of more content like that. And call outs to I am indeed degenerate. Yeah. No. I also agree with the fact that I'm degenerate. I've never refuted that fact. And my call out is to I don't really have too much like in the way of call outs, but I would say I'm just gonna go back to like the whole like the people who I don't know, like just the people in the VTuber fan community and like the Western VTuber community in general recently are really just like starting to uh,
Fire hates
just
normies.
are they normies though? I don't know any normies who act like those people.
Compared to the previous VTuber cast, yes. Guys are no. Wait, what?
But it's yeah, I don't know any normies like those people. But the thing is, it's I don't know. I wish those people would stop trying to mix so much like just trying to stop. I don't know. It's like it's okay to have fetishes. Just be aware of like the fact that you are presenting yourself as a virtual avatar, streaming, gaming content and stuff like that to a wide and likely much younger than you audience, and you can't we can't do this whole like weird like I'm just against the idea of like Western VTubers falling down the erotic content rabbit hole this quickly, although we've had obviously our brushes before on different platforms. And also, doing the weird like vocab and like just being very like I don't know. It's just a lot of things that like weird and like very I'm a random person at like an anime convention, the person who is like, screaming lines from Bleach levels of like that's weird. Like I don't know if you
Man,
should do that kind of
we
a
all
thing.
went through a stage where we said Bankai
No,
or
absolutely.
substitution
But
jutsu.
not at like a public anime convention in front of like 50 people, right? Like there's a difference. So,
Yeah, I was also
I'm not
like, below the age of like 13, 12 maybe.
So I was like, I talking about my flight to the debate, fucking like the vocab and like the whole like te yabai whatever stuff like during the middle of like regular conversation. Honestly, like it's just that stuff, and then on top of that again, like going back to the whole like, oh, I'm a cosplayer. My name is like Yumi. And it's like fucking like 35-year-old like random
My
like
look,
some
my
woman from
favorite
like
is when it's
Oregon.
a yeah, my favorite is when it's a really white first name And there's just like a Japanese surname fucking thrown in there.
You notice
Jesus.
you always go to Oregon. What do you have against Oregon?
It's like the Florida of the mid east or the Midwest. Excuse me. What the
Mid-E.
hell am I saying? I don't know why I said mid east. I keep getting. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have for now. And with that, we're gonna round up our 201st episode. Actually, this gave me some pretty good ideas for the side cast that I do want to run, or at least Toast gave me one or two good ideas a little bit
Are
earlier
we
on.
gonna do the VTuber cast?
Oh, please don't.
I don't, especially not in this environment. I think this environment is like really bad for the VTuber cast. But
Remember, Spire. Who do you get?
If there ever
Get
was a
Shoujo.
time.
I think you said I was Nizi Sanji,
No,
and
no,
then
no.
you were
You get
Hololive.
Shoujo.
I get
wait, what?
Vishojo? I thought Nier got
You said-
Vishojo.
Yeah, I thought you
Yeah,
said
Nia, you
I
get-
got Vishojo because I'm the only person here who watches like Neanners.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
all right.
But anyways, I have some ideas for the sidecast, so we'll probably try to pan that out soon. But if you, yeah, and we have a pretty decent lineup for pretty much everybody except for I think Dark might be taking a few bullets in the next couple of episodes. But other than that, pretty good lineup coming through for the summer season. Surprising. And if you do like what we do, we stream our podcast every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast. That's with a numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation related media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So you can check us out here during our live recording, of course, as well as our highlight VODs here. So you can check them out on that format on our YouTube channel, 4PlayAnimecast, whichever format that you desire. And check us out on our social media for updates and news and more information on Facebook for Play Animecast, as well as on Twitter. Our handle is at 4PPAnimecast. Again, all with the numeral 4. Again, we'll see you next time.